are we though? Like, that's the question. Okay, can you guys see us? Are we okay?
Sorry about that.
We're gonna just start over and pretend the first 15 minutes never happened because there's no way for us to like connect them or whatever, so we're gonna have to try again. But yeah, so hi guys.
Unfortunately, all our fun commentary was lost, which means we're probably gonna say a lot of the same jokes again, and you better laugh.
Yeah, so we don't know what happened. The Wi-Fi, like, went out, and they said that there were, like, problems or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that there were problems, like, in the thingy. How do you say it? Like, on the internet company or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they said, oh, like,
Internet
problems in your area. And I was like, uh-oh. But, like, it seems like the problem spike has gone down. So, like, of people reporting a problem. So it seems like that they fixed it. And I'm just like... Like, it's good that we didn't get into it. Like, we were just sort of, you know,
15 minutes
fucking
in.
around, right? We were only 15 minutes in, so, like, I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna post my post again.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
I'm just gonna make a quick observation.
us.
I feel bad for making this observation again, but of course we save these videos and some people don't watch it live in the stream.
Yeah.
I noticed that in this scene and in some of the scenes we see a little more of the Atlas architecture, and it all looked very, like, early 20th century to me, very like 1920s. It looks like they all look like, you know, old New York skyscrapers, and I was kind of like that sort of felt odd because I imagined Atlas as this very like sleek, futuristic, like glass paneled modern sort of skyscraper city. But I realized that, like, oh, when you look at this kind of like really skyscraper high-rise industrial, or not industrial, high skyscraper area of Atlas, and then you look at Mantle, they both look like they're from the same time period. They both look like New York in the 20s. And I kind of like that. Yeah,
I mean, that's probably the case, right? Like, they probably modeled them after that, like, time period.
Someone says Bioshock vibes. Yeah, that, like, I forgot, not postmodern, it's the, Art Deco.
Punk aesthetic.
Yeah, like the Art Deco punk aesthetic. It's really, it's interesting. I kind of like how RWBY swerved with a lot of my expectations for how Atlas would look like.
I posted, hey everyone, Watts hacked us, but we're back, like as a joke. And this, like, clearly a bot account said, ethical hacker, I can get you your accounts back. Like, if you lost them, right? So it says, inbox me to retrieve account. And I'm like,
you know
sir,
what we should do?
You didn't...
We should inbox him against a fictional character and see how long we can go without
can you
giving
get our
a
account
credit
back
card.
from Arthur Watts, from Sir Arthur Watts? So yeah, that was weird. But yeah, I posted that. Actually, I should block that person and then hide their reply so it's like not like, you know, so they don't like... The bot doesn't hurt anyone, and it's funny because their bio says like Russia or something, and I'm
that's
just
not
like,
a good sign.
Okay.
I'm not gonna let a Russian hacker.
Oh God! Anyway.
I'm not gonna get my account hacked just to get it hacked again.
Yeah, and so yeah, I was kidding. We weren't hacked. The internet just died, okay? Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna just go over this again, like kinda briefly, but kinda also like not briefly. Like we're gonna re-explain everything faster. But hello everybody. It is me. It is us. You guys should join the Discord server if you want to talk with us. It's like a live chat all the time. If you guys like talking in the chat, you'll like talking in the Discord. And you guys should check out the Patreon to do the things, to watch our reaction early, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, not to breeze through the beginning, but we know what we're gonna say, right?
It was an amazing episode.
Yes,
like it was very emotionally impactful. A lot of things we thought were happen turns out probably happening next week. Yes. But we did predict them.
We did predict some good things, so I'm very excited to talk about them. I think
some of the greatest moments between some of these characters, like I think it's the best Ren and Nora and Jean interaction.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
Probably my new favorite RWBY and Yang interaction. Yeah. I love Emerald's lines here. I love the sort of scenes with Robin and Crow. I love the scenes. Just every scene, it's so wonderful. I also love how goofy that Nevermore looks.
He's just like,
anybody in there?
And so I love that. I love like the little scuttly boys. I like that. I wonder who's protecting the citizens. Like, I wonder if there's Atlas military standing outside to shoot anything that tries to go in.
Maybe, but I think the Atlas military kind of fucked up.
I mean, it could also be the students that are down there too.
Maybe. So, I also love how that Nevermore looks like my dog when it tries to eat a Cheerio that went under the couch.
Oh my
It's just
God.
sticking its snoot.
Oh,
in a
boy.
narrow
But
place.
yeah, then we see this group shot. I think they're doing a great job with the group shots. Like, somebody told me the other day, and they were like, oh, the background characters are so boring. None of them really stand out. And I'm like, isn't that an oxymoron? Isn't background character and stand out?
Yeah.
Isn't that an oxymoron? So that's what I didn't understand. But, like, these two, we've seen them before, so I like the through lines.
It's also like, you can put down your daughter now.
Little mini stories. You know, but she's clinging to him for comfort. No.
Can we also talk about how that guy is just not having a very good day there?
I mean, no, it's the apocalypse, bro. Oh,
I also love how there's a man in a fedora with a popped collar, like, just dressed really inappropriately.
Well, yeah, they stopped when they were having a picnic, and I like the through lines with that. Like, I like the story through lines, because you have this thing where it's like, oh, you saw these characters, now you're seeing them again, and they have little stories. Just like the Fox mom and, like, the other mom, like, the human mom and the racist lady and the mole guy, like, all of them have sort of, like, little mini stories, and it really makes you feel like these aren't just background characters, like, these are main characters whose stories you don't get to see.
Or side characters who we glimpsed for a while.
That's what I mean,
because I care a lot about Fox Lady, and I care a lot about Gus Sarolamo.
Hi, Dan. Nice to see you, Dan. Somebody in the chat, I don't know where they went, but somebody was saying that they loved the episode, but their friends didn't. Well, that's why you should join the Discord server, because you can make new friends. It's okay. No, not that you should dump your friends for, like, their opinion.
Can we
or
go
something.
back to that guy? That dude in the green pop collar and, like, the bowler hat.
Why are you bullying him?
He looks like someone who would, like, be like, oh, they ruined Adam's character.
Oh my God, Hunter. Very bad. Very, very bad. Curfew's in effect. Okay, then we see a mammoth group.
That motherfucker. You can tell that the Atlas military did not have PR people, or they're all dead, or they're in the sewers.
Well, yeah, Ironwood doesn't care about
a PR person would be like,
thing.
okay, let's not go for scary dictator that you can't see their face.
Yeah.
Something a little less ominous. Maybe a skyline, like a nice zoom background. Anything? Smile a little, not smile, but be stern.
I have people that do that in Zoom where, like, I don't know how Zoom does this. Like, that's actually interesting because, like, they don't have green screens, right? Zoom just somehow cuts out your face and then puts it on another background, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just so weird when my professors, like, put their office from when they were at school, like, to pretend that they're at school, and I think that's, like, so funny. Right?
My professor made himself a cat person. Like, they looked like a mix between a Chitara from the new Wonder Woman and the Cats from the Cats musical. It was not a good look.
So yeah, let's talk about this, okay? So again, we already talked about this in the stream that never was. Like in the stream that didn't make it. But is like gay, right there, wives, okay? Because they've had this whole story, okay? You have this racist lady and her daughter, and then the son, right? And then they come in like and meet the Faunus people, and they immediately like two kids like each other. They start to play, kids know no prejudice, okay? Right? The grandma starts to have a change of heart, and now she's holding the mole man's hand, and then they fall in love in this traumatic event. Because that's a thing, right? Like to fall in love like during traumatic.
Trauma mama?
Yeah, trauma mamas. Trauma, like, incidences. Yeah, and so I'm like, they're gay. If they live, they will get out of here, and they'll tell their grandkids the story about how they met during the great
How dare
Salem
you steal my joke from the... Mom, how did you meet Mom? Well, you see, we were attacked by an evil demon. It's the grand. So when Grandma, how did you meet Grandma? It's like, well, like first we were attacked by an evil immortal goddess, and then the president wanted to nuke us all, and I thought husband was nowhere to be seen.
Oh God, yeah.
So let's fuck a fox girl.
Anyway,
Grandma was into the Christmas, cherry a little bit when she told that story. I also love how much of, like, I wish I had an emotional support Gus grandpa mole.
I mean, even other people in the background, like, I like seeing everyone holding their kids and stuff. And so, like, again, last time we streamed, which was 15 minutes ago before this stream broke, right? Somebody was like, oh, yay, we solved racism. And so, like, I get it, it's a joke, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's more so not that racism has been solved, but more so that in these traumatic moments, people just... You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that
you see more of people.
Yeah, like, and it's almost like your basic instincts or your basic feelings. Like, you don't have time to think about socially constructed prejudice, right? You only go into your biological fight, flight, freeze, or hug, right? You know what I mean?
It's almost like you can't, you almost, it's, because you're right, bigotry
you forget
is
about everything that the world has taught you, and instead you sort of go back to, like, whatever your biological instincts would be if, like, we were still, I don't know how to explain it, like, you know, new humans, as opposed to, like whatever we are now, right?
You're not, it's almost, you become a sort of...
I don't want to say animalistic, because I think that it's actually a good thing, but that's sort of what I mean, like, those... Like, you know, how, I guess, humanity, like, comes together like that. Like, how humans used to, like move in packs and, like, you know, care about each other. And, like, I read this thing, and it was like, why do babies cry? Like, that seems like it could be the worst biological evolution ever. But then somebody replied to that person, and they actually said, like, but when you think about it, how humans used to live, they didn't used to live in, like, oh, mom has to take care of the baby all the time. It was sort of, like, pass the baby around, right? And also, like, if a baby cries, the mom and the dad, they're gonna see what made the baby cry. Like, everyone in this village is gonna go see, like, who the fuck are you bullying my baby? And it's like a bear or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Right? And so,
that's
like,
how I feel when
instincts.
Fiona cries. When Fiona cries, I say, who the fuck hurt my baby?
Yeah, we are pack animals, right? Like, in dire situations, like, we come together. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's how I feel about it.
I'm not saying that racist lady still doesn't have, like, when...
She'll
probably say
this
when...
could have changed her, though.
When her daughter starts marries Fox Lady, there's gonna be a couple awkward dinner conversations. Maybe. She's not totally, but in that moment, like, you know, she holds hands.
That can also change, though. You know what I mean? A traumatic moment can also really change
open people up
in a way.
I hope so.
Right?
We're
they're relying on the people that they're with because there are no other options.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I guess also I like how she's like, she thinks Atlas is going to save us, but really we have to save each other. And ultimately that you end up seeing the humanity and realizing that, like, you know, these faunas care about me, I should care about them.
And that was so sad for Fiona.
And then I noticed, okay, as much as I love...
This. Can we talk about this first, Hunter, before you Look at this. Like,
they love each other.
I love this.
Fiona Protection Squad.
I'm
sorry, they're poly.
Happy.
Yeah, they're poly. I understand some people like the idea of Crow and Robin. I get where you're coming from. I'll only allow it if Crow becomes part of the polycule. Otherwise,
boy. I mean, I already explained this, but I feel like that everyone except for Robin is way too young for Crow. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like if Crow looked in Fiona's direction, you know what I mean? I'd be like, Crow, get away.
I feel like Crow is in his like mid 40s, to late 30s.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And they're in like their mid.
Yeah, like 20s. I feel like Robin's like 30 and then Crow's like 38 or something.
No,
you know what I mean?
I feel like they're a little younger than that.
Oh, you think Crow's younger than
that?
No,
I think that Rob and them are younger. I think that they're in their mid to late 20s.
But yeah, either way, I was just like, no.
I also like
Keep
that this
Crow
is...
away from the rest of the Happy Huntresses.
I like how...
Let them just all be lesbians together.
I like how this is like a soft butch and trans lesbian solidarity.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. And then,
I noticed
Hunter wants to roast this Taeyang erasure.
This woman, it's a little Taeyang erasure.
No.
This woman, in the middle of the most traumatic experience of all these people in their life, are fucking smiling. And it's not like, at first, when we first,
What?
Okay, I don't know how to switch it.
What do you mean, go where?
Like, at first we thought like, oh, it's just a face and she changes her face. No, she makes that one face the whole time. This woman is fucking smiling. And their heads kind of move. It's almost like she made a joke.
Yeah.
It's almost she was just like, I don't know what the joke would be.
Yeah, I don't think I want you to try to think of one on the spot, Hunter. But you're saying, like, she's just telling jokes to make people feel better. I mean, Yang does that, so can we judge? Yeah. Can we really judge?
Listen,
you know?
if I was in this situation, I would make a joke.
Oh, Oh boy.
But like...
Oh god, what was I saying? Yes, happy hunters. Yeah, happy huntresses. They're all gay.
But she's having that moment of, I don't know, like, she's probably gonna be like, I imagine she's probably making human jokes.
I mean, but yeah, because this guy's a faunus,
Yeah.
right? So I can see it. I don't know, maybe.
Like,
she's from Beacon. She's going first time.
I like, maybe she's making like, this is the most humans I've ever seen in a dust mine. It's like, now is not the time for the racial humor, Janice.
God. Dominus? Undominus?
Undominus?
I don't know who just Nora is, but we're about to find out. I agree. And I actually have something something about that. I mean, like, we've said it. Okay, so I'll give you guys a hint. Like, we have said the stuff that, like, Nora will get the maiden powers because free as her grandmother.
Yeah,
and then that didn't happen. But I still think that she could get the maiden powers, and then that could, like, help her, like, with her identity and, like, who she is and things like that. Okay, so yeah, I have a Discord message. I'm like, hello, is everything okay? I hope the stream's not dead again, because that's what it was for last time. Oh, okay. Arnold's like, is your internet okay? It's fine now, I think.
It's going.
But it died. Feels very sad. Okay. Yes.
But it's a really sweet moment, ruined by the fact that someone was making an appropriate joke in the background.
Oh, God. I mean, maybe it was an accident. Maybe they didn't mean to, and they'll fix it.
I like to imagine that maybe they were, like, on a date together, and they were just like, wow, like, I thought we were going to a bistro. This kind of blows.
There was an episode, so yeah, if you guys can't see it, it's this girl's face. There was an episode, I think it was last episode, where Arnold realized that Watts' bruise, like, went away in a scene.
Oh.
And so I'm like, Watts' character model has been through it.
Yeah.
Like, first he had his rings, then he lost them. Then he had the bruise, and then he lost it. So I don't know what they're doing with his character model exactly.
He just
that it keeps
heals
happening,
really well.
You know? But no, and then it came back in the next scene, and we were like, oh.
Also, what if he just had foundation, like, in his back pocket the whole time?
What do you mean he slapped it on and rubbed it off?
I think, no, I think...
Because it happened, like, in the middle.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I
bruise,
see.
not bruise, bruise.
Okay.
Like, it happened.
If it was like the rings where just all of a sudden he didn't
God.
have, like, a bruise anymore, I like to imagine that he just keeps foundation, like he's very vain.
Yeah.
He just keeps the foundation on his person at all times.
Howell, if people ask about the reaction, I don't know if you were here earlier, but Dar has some links to post. I will post them, though, right now, maybe. But yeah, our reaction is up on Patreon and for YouTube membership members. So you guys can go, like, see it right now if you want to. But yeah, our reaction is awake and people are watching it because I can see you. I can see the people. I can see, like, people are watching it.
Anyways, on the topic of bad dates,
oh, God.
Winter and
Ironwood.
Ironwood.
We were just talking about this, like, as the stream died, okay? And so here's, like, the thing. I thought, like, it was sort of weird. Like, initially, I was sort of like, how is Winter back in his good graces? But I think that basically what happened is that, like, Ironwood was pissed because, like, you know, oh, she gave away, like, Jean and, she gave away Jean. Yeah, she gave away, like, Jean and Ren and stuff like that. And, yeah, and so, like, I feel like that, at first, it seems a little weird, right? Like, at first, it seems like a weird thing. Like, why is she back with him all of a sudden? Like, that's kind of strange. But here's what I think. Like, he realized first that they don't need Jean and Ren anymore because they can hold Mantle hostage. And then it was sort of another thing where now, like, he is so one-track mind on this that he doesn't necessarily, like, he's not going to be like, throw Winter in the brig, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it was more so, like, he was mad at her at that moment, and he would still be mad at her if they didn't have other options. But now that they have other options, he sort of, not necessarily forgot, but he just sort of, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that's sort of what happened. I don't know how to explain it exactly. Not that he forgot, but, like, we know that Ironwood's semblance kicks in for him to have more resolve in the things that he chooses to do. And so I feel like that as soon as he chose, like, this plan of action, he gained more resolve. And so any brain capacity that thought about, you know, what to do with Winter, like,
I think it's
went
just
away.
he has such, like, a one-track determined mind that it was just like, well, on to the next thing.
Oh, Dan's making a good point about he likely thinks that they're dead. Yeah, that's another thing too, is that they went into the whale and never came out.
Yeah, and the
so
whale
they probably
exploded.
think they're dead anyway.
They probably, maybe he considered that maybe, like, I wonder who made the explosion. Maybe the 3 kids we let in there.
right? And so I feel like that, like, you know, that's the other thing. You can't really be mad if he's dead, right? So yeah, I thought that this scene was interesting. I feel like these two, I don't know what they're looking at. I think that they're looking at some sort of like news report, maybe.
Yeah.
Should we like?
I don't
should
know.
we go as far as we
would
can?
that even be?
What is that?
Is that like a Grim? Maybe? Is that?
Guys, any ideas? Any
don't
ideas in
know.
the chat?
Like
Should I get my magnifier? Oh, I don't know if you guys can, can see my recent files or whatever, but it's okay. Okay, yeah, magnifier, and then magnify.
No, no, I don't think you can really. That's as much a gray blob now as it has always been.
Oh God, it looks like a trash bag. I don't know what to say. Okay, was that okay? Did you guys see us? Did you guys lose us, or were we okay? Did that zoom in? Oh, we're about to see it. I'm about to look in the feed. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it worked. What is that?
I don't know. I like the idea that maybe there can, like, if Winter like stages a mutiny, that these two like won't follow
Subway
orders.
entrance, travel plans out of the kingdom. I feel like these two were talking shit.
Yeah,
definitely. I feel like that they were talking shit. Security camera caught the hound? I don't know. But maybe. Yeah. And so like look at this guy, like he's like, stop what you're looking at. She puts it away. See? Yes. That's so sus. So I have no clue what it is, but I will say that whatever it is, it's suspicious. Whatever that she was looking at, they didn't want Ironwood to see, and it was probably a news article maybe bashing or criticizing Ironwood. Military coup, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like that he's like, stop looking at that thing, like he's gonna see you, right? And so I feel like these two are talking shit, and I feel like that there could be a coup. Look at this man's poor face. You know what I mean? And so yeah, the whale's ribs maybe? Yeah, Ironwood's fret to Mantle, like, yeah, so look at how she looks at them. She's just like, please don't do the bads, right? Please stop it, right? And so I feel like that was really, really good. They were afraid, and they were looking at something that would have gotten them in trouble. So I think that that's really good. Because I think that something we talked about is like, you know, people were asking, like, why can't they just throw Ironwood in prison, right? Because we have this whole thing where Robin always wants justice. I won't kill Jacques because Jacques should rot in prison. I won't kill Ironwood because killing Ironwood's not the right thing. The right thing is for him to be in prison for his crimes. And so something that we were sort of saying in response to that is it would be really hard because the other problem is that Ironwood has some type of, like, military power, and I'm sure he has people that support him. So really, it's about, like, you can't necessarily just throw him in jail, because what if he has other soldiers that are supporters that would let him out? Like, you would have to throw Ironwood in jail in Vale and, like, Glinda watch him all day, all day, all night, and make sure he didn't leave, right? And so I feel like that there's that, but seeing those two kind of make me think that a coup may not be that out of the question after all. Like, what if nobody supports what Ironwood's doing,
I think that this is a subtle way to kind of set up the possibility of a coup. I think that having Marrow and Winter be deeply... Already we know that they're not into it. Yeah. I think having Elm be kind of on the fence about it would be very interesting as well.
And I think the bluffing was really good. Like, I feel like that was interesting as well. Ironwood threatened them not to step into his office until they found Robin, and they still didn't find Robin. That could be true too. I think it was those two. So they were like, fuck it, right? And so what? He's bluffing with the whole city. And so I think that was interesting, right? Because we sort of thought that it was a bluff in the sense that he is so sure that Team RWBY wouldn't, like, let it go, wouldn't try it, that he wouldn't have to do it. You know what I mean? I guess that is what a bluff is, but I don't mean a bluff as in, like, he never planned on, he wasn't even going to set it up. Yeah. That's what I'm sort of thinking, and it seems like he's making it look, I feel like he would do it if Team RWBY didn't comply, but the thing is, he thinks in his mind there is no possibility that RWBY will not comply, right? So is it really a bluff at all? Because he's just counting, he is totally banking on the fact.
But I think he'll still do it. It wasn't an empty threat, and I feel
it wasn't an empty threat.
Like, personally, like, I never thought that it was anything other than an honest, like, made threat, like a promise. I think he would do that. I think it's within his characterization now that he's just going further and further off the edge.
It's sort of hard to explain. Like, he would, but he's also counting on there's no way Team RWBY wouldn't come. There's no way, right? And so it's like just the idea, and he even said this, you're not willing to do it, but I am. So it's like, you guys, I'm crazy enough and you know it. So there's no way that you could not, right? And so, let's talk about this, right? And so it's weird that Hair said, like, who cares? It may finally push the kids to see reason. I think Vine said that. And then Hair's like, who cares? And I'm like, who cares? Like, what the fuck was that? Like,
it's
what
a
was
little,
that?
I don't know what to call it. She almost seems angry at it. Like, she doesn't even want to adore. She's almost, like, more angry at Team RWBY than she is at... Like, she's going... I almost wonder, like, why she's going along with Ironwood. Because early on in the volume, I got the impression that, like... Or this volume or the last volume, it's hard to tell anymore.
Yeah.
When he shoots Sleet. You almost get the impression that she does not like what she saw. So I'm like, well, what has happened? And I almost wonder...
Her heart has hardened.
Yeah,
you know?
a little bit.
Like, I feel like deep down, it's sort of like when they brought up Tortuga.
Yeah.
Right? Like, deep down, she does care. But she's just putting on this... facade, right? Okay, let's read the super chat. So, Undominus again said, Elm looks like the next to defect. Yes, absolutely. That's what we said in our reaction. We will talk about that. Patrick said, I don't see the reaction IDK if it's my Patreon, but I keep refreshing and it's not there. It's definitely there, because, like, people are watching it. Like I said earlier, like, I can see that people are watching it, so you may have to, like, look at your Patreon. I'm sorry, I can't give a better explanation than that, but, like, it's totally up. It is definitely up. So I don't know. I can't help you, sorry. But yeah, just look at, like, maybe your Patreon stuff, like, maybe a payment didn't go through, or maybe Patreon's like, we need an hour to process this, or something like that. You can't fake how emotionless he was while sounding so certain. Okay, I think that was about Ironwood. He's prepared to do it if he has to. She doesn't want to think about it at the risk of admitting it's wrong. Yeah, I agree with that analysis of Hair. I think that's fair. He definitely thinks Oscar is dead. Yeah, that's true too. That's interesting. Well, did Winter say to look for Oscar or look for their friend? Because who was kidnapped by the whale? Like, who does Ironwood think was kidnapped by the whale? Because then he would have known that Oscar was alive, because
Unless he thinks it's RWBY or one of them?
Because Hair said she let them go look for their friend. But, like, who does Ironwood... Because that means Ironwood thinks that a fourth person is dead, but he doesn't know who? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Because he thought Oscar was dead. Oscar was in the whale. Jean, Ren, and Yang went to go save their friend. So who does Ironwood think is dead? He doesn't think RWBY's dead because RWBY called him. Nora? True. Very true. I don't know. That may be interesting as, like, a wild card type thing. That Ironwood thinks that there's two casualties. Oscar, who he killed, and then some Blake, Nora, right? He knows that Weiss is alive because Weiss did the ships, right? He knows that RWBY's alive. He obviously knows that Penny's alive. Yeah, Hair said friend, Winter didn't say. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, so Ironwood in his mind, that could be a little twisteroo later, because they have more numbers than Ironwood thinks that they do. Because think about it, right? Okay, so he thinks that there's -2, but now there's actually still 7, right? And then they gained 1 because of Emerald. Right? So there's actually 8, but he thinks there's 5.
Sure.
Think about that. Very interesting. Anyway, so let's talk about this.
That might work if, like, someone pretends to be Penny later on. He thinks that they're down 1, when in actuality it's someone pretending to be Penny.
It could be any of them. He didn't know they split. Exactly. A happy huntress? Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, they said friend, right? So I feel like that, I mean, Pietro, Maria, I think that, like, either way, he thinks that they have less numbers than they actually do. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Aesop's fought, like, RWBY, Penny, Blake. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Ironwood probably hasn't been thinking too hard about it, right? But yeah, maybe he figured out that Ozpin created the explosion. Yeah, that's true as well. Maybe he knows. But either way, Emerald, wild card. Very nice. But yeah, so let's talk about this. A squad of drones in standby to drop the payload, and then, like, Winter's like, what? But he needs to make it look real, too. Like, even if he isn't planning on it, he needs to at least make it look convincing, right? So I think it's two things. It's like half of Ironwood is just like, I'm just bluffing, I need to make this look convincing, and then the other half of Ironwood,
I don't think he's bluffing.
No. The other half of Ironwood is like, but I do it though. Right? You know what I mean? So I feel like that maybe it's those, like, fighting, right?
I believe I was clear in the broadcast.
Like, if they give me a reason, I'm going to remove Mantle from the equation, right? And so Elm does not like this. And Marrow, we already know Marrow doesn't like this. Elm is next. I'm telling you this right here, right now. Like, Elm is next, right? This is how we save Atlas, right? And so I think that Marrow's, like, speech here is a contender, because, like, for the Oscars, we had Best Fight, but I want to put Best Speech. And so right now we have RWBY's speech from the CCTV thingy, right, from the message. We have Ironwood's message. We have Marrow's little speech here. It's not exactly a monologue because they interrupt him, but then he keeps going, so whatever. And then after that,
RWBY's?
Watts.
Did we mention?
Yeah, we mentioned RWBY's already. And then we have Watts' little speech, right? And so, yeah. You call this Saving Atlas? I love Marrow. Marrow's so cool. Doing Salem's job for her. That was nice. Like, that was, spicy.
I
that
also
was a
love
roast.
how
That was so true.
I was always like lukewarm on Marrow. I think
Were you?
In Volume 7, I think
Marrow
I remember.
was the one that won, like, Best Aesop. Like, he was like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like the shit.
Didn't mean
like,
I
everyone
voted
loved
for him.
Marrow.
But now in this volume, I think he's definitely Best Aesop.
I think that this was really nice for Marrow's character, right? And look at Elm. Elm's just like
shocked.
Right?
She's the most
look at
shocked.
Vine.
Yeah.
They're just like Hair's mad. Vine's just like
Neutral,
I do not see it. Right? Like he's just looking. And so I really like this, and I like this because it gives an insight into Marrow's character. Because think about like who's Marrow's character is, right? We haven't gotten this big backstory from him, but we've seen the propaganda posters of you too can join the Atlas military. Like we saw those in Volume 7, and so we have this sort of like whole thing about, Marrow being probably from Mantle, considering we haven't seen that many Faunus and Atlas, right? Like, there's no Faunus in the subway, so that's a little, right? So you think about it, right? You have this, like this kid from Mantle who looks up at the sky and he sees a dream, like, you too, like, can be, in the Atlas military, and he dreams about that, and he, he trains for it, he becomes a huntsman, he refines his semblance, right? He gets into the academy, woo, right? Like, that's great. He rises up the ranks, and he gets to be in this specialist Aesop position, like, he buys in to everything that the Atlas military promises, right? And he thinks that he's overcome something. He thinks that, okay, well, yeah, I'm a Faunus, but it doesn't matter, like, because I'm moving up in the military, I'm going up in the world, like, in, for an Atlas, like, in the Atlas military, like, anyone can be in the military, it doesn't matter, right? Like, anyone can succeed, right? Sort of like the American dream propaganda, right? When you think about it, but, like, in a more, like, military sense. And then he meets Ironwood and sees everything Ironwood does and realizes that he's been working so hard for the validation of the people in power, but the people in power never respected him or his people in the first place. Whether that's Faunus, whether that's people from Mantle, like humans included. I don't just mean like Faunus necessarily, but they don't respect like the people from Mantle in the first place. And I feel like that when you think about like the military in real life, right? Like I know that like the American military, not to get a little, right? But like some parts, I'm not saying everyone, but some recruiters capitalize off the fact that kids do not want to go to college with debt, that they don't want to go to university with debt, right? And so they, capitalize on, hey, like just be in the military for a couple of years, give us your body, your mind, and your soul for a couple of years, and you can have free tuition and like these perks, right? And I'm not saying that like everyone that joins the military regrets it, right? But like think about like those promises and capitalizing off of that. And so you would think that a lot of people that are in the military are probably not necessarily like from Atlas. Like sure, like you have the scientists and stuff, like they're probably like from Atlas, right? And then you have Winter, right? But most of like the, I don't want to call them grunts, but most of the like soldiers, like most of just like the base soldiers, not necessarily huntsmen, but soldiers, recruits are probably from Mantle because of this promise of like a better life. Right? And so I feel like that, like, this is, like, Marrow's character. Like, I know that we haven't gotten a literal backstory, but this is my interpretation of Marrow's character. That he really, like, fought for this dream. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that, like, he's saying, I believed in you because he believed in everything that Ironwood promised. That Ironwood's face on the posters or, like, and stuff like that. Right? And so I feel like that was really, like, nice, right? And he doesn't even look at him.
I really like that interpretation of Marrow's character. And that he bought the Kool-Aid and now he's realizing that it's poison.
Like, that just makes me emotional. I'm doing this is kind of related. So I'm doing this whole class on like philosophy of oppression and stuff like that. And like I'm also doing like a theorizing class about like propaganda and stuff like that. And just to like, I don't know, there's something about reading about these things that I think has been really impactful for my media analysis, because you have all these philosophers writing about like what oppression is and what the ruling classes promise you and stuff like that. So I feel like that it's like really, really interesting. to now look at the show through this lens, because I feel like that it's just made me a better analyzer. Like, because we've looked at a bunch of stuff. Like, we've looked at totalitarianism, we looked at, like, feminist theory in relation to Marx, and then we looked at Marx, and then, like, we looked at, like, a bunch of stuff. Love Letter to America and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's been, like, really, really interesting. Yeah, Marrow probably thought that he could be, like, a role model, too. That he could be, like, you know, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, a symbol of hope, right? Like, a lot of huntsmen want to get into it for that, too, to be, you know, like, beacons of hope for people. Kind of like RWBY, right? Like, you know, wanting to save people, right? Calxiyn, who's that person next to you? It's Hunter! What? Question mark? Anyway, it's...
Where's that comment?
Do you not see it? It's right there. Maybe they're a miraculous viewer. They never see me.
Are they fucking with me? Do I look so different? Okay. Well, that's certainly something.
You got a haircut, and now nobody knows.
I guess so, yeah. Wow, that whole
I can change my wig every week, and people still know that it's me.
Well, the Clark Kent thing is really on. Like, all of a sudden, like, who is that?
Oh, God. Perry the platypus? Anyway. Oh, God.
It's just a random platypus here. Perry the platypus?
And so look at this. Like, hair? What the fuck, hair? Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah. And so I think hair is, like, I love her character because it gets on my nerves so much.
Yes,
like, Arnold was like, oh, yeah, hair's getting on my nerves. But I'm like, but isn't that in a good way? Like, her character is just so well written to antagonize you, the viewer, to hurt your feelings, the viewer. You know what I mean? So I thought that was nice. Because, like, this is basically, who did she say this to? She said this to someone else. I don't remember.
Shut your mouth, I'm going to shut it for you. I feel like she probably said it to, like, Team RWBY when they fought.
Maybe.
I can only imagine, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. And so then Vine sort of steps in as, like, the mediator, right? And so Elm says she doesn't like this, but she's, like, sort of torn,
but
right?
She's almost kind of, like, to an extent where I think it's like you view it as an evil necessity. She doesn't like it, but she thinks she has to. I like how all of these different people are different versions of people dealing with like authority, with like poor authority.
I agree.
You have
it's almost like fight, flight, or freeze, but like in represent like some people say that the Shnees are fight, flight, or freeze. So Winter is flight, Weiss is fight, Whitley is fawn, and Willow is freeze.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's almost the same as the Aesops as well. Like I don't want to say Vine is fawn exactly,
sure.
but like you know what I mean, like that sort of like a whole thing. Or like Hare is fawn, Vine is freeze because he just stays neutral. He doesn't do anything. Elm is whichever. Elm is maybe like Elm is flight while Marrow is fight.
But it's
right?
but it's like different people where like some people like I think Vine and I think Vine is like orders are orders. I don't think about it. I think Harriet is someone who really bought in with her own anger.
Yeah,
and wants
I agree.
to enact it. I think that you get that kind of argument of like, oh, it's for the better good. The ends justify the means, and that explains Elm's relationship.
Yeah, and like focusing on your own anger so you don't need to think that hard, right? You know what I mean?
And then you have Marrow who like speaks out openly, and then you have Winter who works covertly against it. So they're all different reactions to...
I like this too. Do any of you believe in anything, right? Because it's like Vine just looks so lifeless sometimes. Like, why did they all join? What did they believe in that they joined the military? Because I think that like, our interpretation of, I'm not saying our interpretation's the right one, but I'm saying, like, our interpretation of Marrow's past is probably, like, more, like, we're hitting it more. Whereas if you ask me, like, what's Vine's past, I'd be like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why Vine. Like, I think I know why Marrow, but yeah. I used to wear this rank with pride. Yeah, so again, like being that symbol, like somebody from Mantle, being a faunus, right? Like, like getting this far, right? I used to wear this rank with pride, but now I see it for what it really is. And so I really like this because we have talked about, okay, and so I really like this because this works into something that we talked about. So, we mentioned, like, in Volume 7, because in Full Metal Alchemist, they call the alchemists the dogs of the military. And so I sort of was, like, playing around with the idea that would be something, like, in relation to Marrow, because like that's like a saying, right? But like also like clearly Marrow is a dog faunus, and so we were sort of thinking about like how these multiple things could connect to each other. And so I think that like when he's saying a collar, right, like he's saying it in that like dog of the military type way, you know what I mean? But
also in like a faunus way.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, is this any better than working for the Schnee Dust Company?
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
You know what I mean? Like
what was the conversation earlier where when they were going into the mine and Blake was going through the mine and she has a moment, and then Marrow says something along the lines of like, we don't have time to like address systemic.
Yeah, we don't have time to address
structures of oppression. Yeah. We need to like slip through this skinny hole, and you, skinny woman, can do it.
Yeah, that's what I sort of remember. And so I wonder, like with Marrow specifically, I don't know, like I wonder if Marrow just sort of like
became radicalized.
Not that, but like put that stuff away. Was like not necessarily
compartmentalized it.
Yeah, like there is like prejudice, but see, like a faunus like me, we can rise up anyway, right? Like maybe that sort of attitude. Like I succeeded, so other faunus can also succeed. Maybe there's less problems. Like maybe Marrow sort of ignored it. Maybe I don't know. Oh yeah, Cinder's collar as well. Like that's like also a whole thing as well.
Oh yeah. The person who didn't know who I am now wants to ask me an important question, and by all means, ask me an important question.
Yeah, and then the mods will delete it when it's not the type of question we think it is. But yeah, and so I really like that like Full Metal Alchemist-esque dog of the military statement comes here, because that's what I kind of wanted like some kind of connection, right? I don't think it was corny. I kind of liked it just because like obviously I don't think they're playing on the fact that Marrow is a dog. I think that you could say that whether he's a dog faunus or not, because Full Metal Alchemist did that, and there's no faunus, like, well, there's Chimera, but we don't need to talk about that in Full Metal Alchemist, right? And so, yeah. What was I saying? I totally forgot. But yeah, and so I really, I like this scene for him, right? But then, okay, like, we see the gun cock.
And he knows he fucked up.
And he, Ironwood was literally about to shoot him.
He was about to get sleeted.
Ironwood was actually about to shoot him. Ironwood was about to shoot him. Did I say that already?
Yes, Ironwood was about to shoot him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then what happened? Then what I was gonna say. I don't remember.
I don't know. Then, of course, Winter comes in, decks him across the face, and I love how it's kind of... I think that some people who maybe don't think about RWBY as much as we do, maybe take it as like, oh, Winter's
I just
still
had like a massive brain fart. Like, I was in the middle of a sentence
okay,
and
you're off your ADD meds.
No, I'm back on them, I swear. But yeah, so Winter, saved his ass right here by punching him in the face, which is sad. Okay, so yeah, there's something else I want to talk about here in a minute. So yeah, first of all... not nice. not good.
I love how there's even, he doesn't even look angry. No. He just, pulled out. He's so... I love that it's his thing that he doesn't consider... It's an interesting commentary to be made against
he doesn't care
the
at all.
Military. He doesn't care about many of the small individual souls in his way.
Yeah.
And that manifests in his actions with other people. Of course he would just blow someone's fucking head off. He just views them as an immediate... threat to be dealt with as efficiently as possible.
And he doesn't even have any remorse about it, right?
Yeah.
And so
he's almost working like a machine. I like how he's he doesn't have a heart. I think I like what they did with his fairy tale inspiration.
I think it's interesting, Penny is made of metal. Penny's entirely a robot, but she has, more of a soul. Whereas you have other characters where she has, more of a heart, but then you have other, human characters that, they are more heartless than a robot. And we sort of had that, with Cinder, for example, and, other characters, in parallels to Penny and stuff. But, yeah, Winter 100% did it to save his life. So, yeah, let's talk about that, because people seem to be misinterpreting this scene already and getting, mad at Winter, right? And so, then Winter says... You want to call her? Fine, right? And so then she, arrests him, right? So here's the thing. So a lot of people, seem to be misinterpreting this as, oh my god, Winter is a racist, right? Winter is racist against, Marrow in this scene. But I don't think that she, means any of this. She is pretending. You know what I mean? She didn't want to punch him in the face, right? She is acting, right? right? She is just acting in accordance to what she thinks would make Ironwood happy, or Ironwood, like, not shoot them, if that makes sense. It's also interesting that as Winter steps in the way, like, Ironwood still wouldn't shoot her. Like, he didn't just shoot, you know what I mean? Like, he stopped as soon as Winter got involved, right? So I think that's interesting. And so, yeah, I understand, I guess, but I think it's disingenuous to be like, oh, wow, Winter hates Marrow. Like, no, she doesn't hate Marrow, right? She doesn't, like, she's not discriminating against Marrow.
Strategic racism. Just a little strategic racism there.
But yeah, it was like, this was to save him. Like, she is pretending. Like, she's putting on an act. She's just pretending, right? And so I don't know, I saw that take somewhere and I was like, confused, because I feel like people didn't get it per se. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Winter is acting, right? She saved his life. Yeah, she's not taking him to the brig. No, she's not. They're gonna run into Crow and Robin. I almost said Clover. Throwback to Ironwood's personal attack dogs. Yes, and so that's where we got Dog of the Military from as well. Undominus. I hope, how do I say your username? Please help me. Will Winter actually leave? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I mean, we had this theory, and it's basically the same theory, but we'll talk about that. So, okay. Here was the thing. We made this theory that Winter and Marrow would defect, and then, like they would be thrown in the brig, right? And then on their way to being thrown in the brig, they would run into Crow and Robin. And so it seems like that's exactly what's happening. So, woo! So I think we got that one right, like 2 weeks before. And so I think that was, like, really, really good. Because that was our whole theory of, like, oh, like, Marrow will probably leave, and then Winter will have to, like, take him and throw him in jail. Or, like, maybe Winter will also have to go in jail, right? And
them bombing each other, but, you know.
You mean punching each other?
Oh, I guess, I didn't we have this theory even before, like, the threat
but
of
I'm
the
saying,
bombing
like,
Mantle
this
showed
specific
up?
thing where they would meet with Robin and Crow.
Yeah, we expected that. I also, you're right, I didn't think a punch would be involved.
But yeah, so I thought that this was really good, right? Like, I think that this was a really good scene, and they're gonna meet them in the elevator, and then they're all gonna defect, just like...
Does he have his weapon on him still? I guess not.
I don't know.
Oh, no, she has it.
Winter
Okay,
has
all right.
it. Yeah,
so they still both have their weapons.
Yeah, we're getting close to being right. All we need is the other half. Like, all we need is the other half. The Jacques thing probably won't happen now, but, like, all we need is the other half.
Okay, so there's something that happened away from screen. I found an edit someone had made online, on Tumblr. I forget the account.
Oh, God, don't tell them, no.
But it was a photo of Jacques, and this person edited Jacques so that they were bald.
Yes.
And you, in your infinite wisdom, was like, he's kind of hot, right?
No!
And I'm like,
I said he would look nice with a piercing because his head was bald. He looked kind of like...
You said, no, you're lying.
What you
said was he's kind of hot, right? Like if he had an earring.
Yeah,
like
if he had an earring, he would be.
That's me being generous to you. I think you added that. Maybe that's what you said in your head.
That's what I meant.
But you said out loud, wouldn't he look hot? And then you said, yeah, he would look like Howie Mandel. And I'm like, Cal, do you think Howie Mandel's hot?
Like, cool, though. That's what I said. And then
you said hot.
Arnold was there. And then afterwards I said, no, but he would look like Howie Mandel if Howie Mandel was cool.
Listen, if
he
you
would
have
an earring.
If you have a crush on Howie Mandel, Arnold, if you're in the stream.
Where is Arnold?
Back me up. Your girlfriend's lying.
But I just meant, like, the edit that they made of him when he had no hair. Like, his jawline was also different. Like, I think his mustache was gone. Like, he just looked, like, he looked better. And he would have looked better if he had an earring. And so that's what I'm saying. I do not like Jacques, alright? I just like the edit that somebody made.
I don't like Jacques. I like Howie Mandel.
Tell El soon, Cal. No!
And he reminds me of him.
Like, it's like if characters are edited to the point where they resemble nothing like the character anymore, is that character still the character?
Is it the ship?
It didn't look like Jacques at all.
Is it the ship of Theus? But like the ship of Theus? Like,
yeah.
It's a whole new person.
He was like half a new sock.
I just love that, Howie meant you're just such a fan.
Yes, it was with the earrings. Exactly.
Would look hot with the earrings.
Thank you, Arnold.
So you still said hot.
But
you
the
still
earrings.
had hot, and you still said like Howie Mandel.
Would look hot with earrings.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
that just means you're both liars. Anyways, moving forward.
Clip-on hair, stop it, guys. No, but like, I don't know. It's like how people make edits of like the RWBY characters as like Genshin characters, and I'm like, you're virtually not the same character anymore. You look completely different. Do not like Calxiyn. Do not like his personality. Okay, I'm just saying.
But you should definitely look for that edited photo of Jacques because he looks way more menacing.
Arnold, we support you. Thanks. Someone's gonna take this completely out of context and think that I'm like a Jacques stan when I like, we've been advocating for Jacques to die for the past 3 episodes. So if somebody like to misconstrues this is not it. Oh God. Anyway, but yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so Ironwood walked by and I think that Elm has this expression here where like Elm moves slower than everyone else.
She looks like a cat with like dinner plate eyes.
And then after that, Vine looks at her and notices. So I think that's going to be an
Zoom
interesting...
in design. Why does he look so disturbing in that photo? Like,
it's his it's a shadow on his jawline.
Yeah, you zoomed into his face, and I'm just like, it's not nice. It's not good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Somebody said bald Jacques looks like he could kick my ass. Yeah, like, you guys had to see it. He wasn't just like Jacques, but with no hair. Like he looked like thinner as well. Like he looked more like muscular. Yeah. He looked kind of like I don't know how to explain.
Hot, as Kaylin would say.
No. Oh God, yeah, just to remind everyone, we want Jacques to die. We do not like Jacques before somebody is like, problematic RWBY tubers to cancel Cal thinks Calxiyn is attractive. It's not.
He's attracted to Howie Mandel. That's an inappropriate age gap.
Oh God, anyway.
Ship's real person.
Vine was shocked too. Yeah, man. I think that Vine is definitely like on his way. Like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be Marrow, Elm, Vine, and then maybe never hair. I don't know. Like, maybe it will be hair, but maybe it won't be hair. I don't know. But Vine, I think, likes Elm, though. Like, I think that he has some, like, loyalty to her to some extent. It depends on their past, right?
So far, I've not seen a whole lot.
So it really depends. But yeah, like, it's like, yeah. So, like, Marrow, Elm, Vine, and then either yes hair or like never hair. Hair will never like do it, right?
I'm sorry, but Doctor Who Geek just posted, and if Arnold shaves his head and gets an earring, we know why.
No. I want Arnold to keep his hair. I'm the one who told Arnold to grow his hair out, but I think he should shave his beard, though. That is my political position on Arnold's hair.
Position? Okay.
Arnold's hair,
Damn.
I like Arnold's hair long. I don't like bald guys. I don't know what it was
Except for Howie Mandel. There's something about his raw sexuality. You would look at him in Deal or No Deal, and I think, oh God, I want to open his case.
Oh God, Hunter, you're so bad. This is why I can't bring you anywhere. Anyway, Ironwood wants Penny, otherwise Mantle is done. Look, we're only, oh my God, we've been talking for 50 minutes about what? We're not even that far in the episode, sis. I'm gonna die.
It's gonna be a motherfucker.
At least nobody will watch the whole stream, and so they won't know. They'll never know about the shock stuff anyway. Oh God. No one cares about Vine. Don't waste screen time on Vine Redemption. Oh, okay. So I guess we won't.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay.
Anyway, so how do we stop him? I like how Blake's sitting.
Yes.
I thought that this was nice.
I just want to give her a hug. I'm like, Yang, hug your GF.
Yeah.
She's in emotional distress.
And then May said the Atlas security drones are watching the crater, right? So, like, they basically have eyes. Like, they have eyes everywhere. Only 15 minutes. Oh, God. Only 50 minutes. And then we have Oscar, right? Oscar looking at the window. And Salem isn't going to stay gone for much longer. So, I like that because it gives us, like, a time context, if that makes sense, right? And so I really like this scene with RWBY. Like, I feel like that this was sort of the RWBY breakdown that people were talking about. Like, she entirely loses her optimism and like her faith, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like in this scene, like she just gets really frustrated, right? And so I like this scene with Emerald, right? Like, and then I like how Weiss is just like, shut up! Like, Weiss, yeah, that was really
the line delivery for "shut up" was so great. I want that on repeat as like my dial tone. It'll be wonderful.
And I like this, and how angry Yang is, right? Like, Yang starts like, huh, 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 right? And then, like, you know, she's sort of back
She
to the
looks
corner.
like scared even, like she did, like she was like she didn't want to fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like here's what happened here, okay? Emerald has a tone problem, right? In terms of, like, this is how she would talk to Mercury, and Mercury would be like, yeah, Emerald, good one, right? But then she says that to Team RWBY, and Team RWBY's like...
She's learning to not be such, like, a hard ass.
And so I feel like that, like, this, I think that she didn't mean to say it in a hurtful way, per se, but she was just, like, she's trying to figure out how to talk to people, right? And this just wasn't it. And
she's learning she needs to be socialized.
Emerald's not with Salem anymore, and so,
I love our boy
thing.
Oscar's just like, nah, we redeem you.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
I let you in the club.
That. And so, and then Ozpin is back, and so look at Weiss. I like how Weiss is just like, right? And like, look at RWBY, and look how concerned Blake is, right? Because think about it, Blake and RWBY had this whole conversation about like how Blake is the hope, and how how RWBY's the hope, and that I'm dying. I'm sorry. Okay, that RWBY is the hope, and then how, you know, Blake used to have that optimistic spirit, but it was crushed with Adam, and then RWBY showed her that spirit could still, like, stay in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And so now, like, RWBY's sort of breaking down, like, she's at her breaking point, right? And so I feel like that was really good for Blake to notice, because Blake is like, no, like, everything that I said to her, like, it's not, you know, she's not thinking about, like, how she's, like, the light in this situation, right? All of this doubt and worry and distrust isn't getting us anywhere, and so I really like this, right? Like, we're in the exact same place we were yesterday, right? And they aren't, but they kind of are, so I understand RWBY's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like, they all split off to do something, and all the things they split off to do, like, backfired.
Didn't totally work.
Exactly, and so they're almost in the same place, right? So I really like that, right? And you know what? The RWBY Twitter is going to do something so inappropriate with this picture, okay? If you guys don't know, the RWBY Twitter account is fucking whack, okay? And so, like, the stuff that they post is just, like, so, like, cringy, and it's, like, oh god, what did Salem
Go to my
say?
chicken tendies, and then it's Salem, like, zooming away.
Exactly, like, yeah, exactly. And so, like, they just post, like, such, like, cringy stuff, and, like, last week, they posted something about, Ironwood, and so they were like, which Ironwood are you? And, like, it's not a big deal, like, I can take a joke, but, like, I feel like that at the same time, it's almost like a, how do you call it? It's almost inappropriate because it's like, which version of the genocidal maniac are you? Like, it's just really strange when you think about it that way. And so I was like, why are they like this? Because everybody was quote tweeting them and like, really bestie, like, how could you do this to us? Or whatever. So like, don't worry, this week, they'll post
It'll
this,
be like, oh,
and
when
they'll be
exams
like,
are hard.
when is this you? And then everyone will reply during my exams, or like during, you know what I mean?
I'll be like, you know, when me and my friends
Me on a Monday. That's how they'll post it like that. It'll be like, me on a Monday.
What if we took it like really bad, like when I'm reminded about my tour in Nam when I hear fireworks outside.
Oh boy, but no, they just post boomer stuff, okay?
I know,
they
but
just do boomer things.
or like if we talk about like as characters, like, oh yeah, no, I tend to feel that way, like when several of my friends are either kidnapped, almost murdered, or like brainwashed when a whole city is about to be destroyed.
Like when my friends take the last french fry or something, like it's gonna be bad, and I already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should fight back with
Oh god. I mean, I posted which light Yagami are you? And I just like to illustrate like how like questionable it was.
Also, you also didn't have the best light Yagami, which is when he's eating a potato chip.
I know. I didn't want
when
that.
He takes
like,
the
that's
potato
actually
chip
relatable. We can't
and
do
he
that.
eats it, because that is a very relatable light Yagami. And also wanting to kill every person you see. These are two things. That doesn't work, you see, because we're all a little like Yagami. You know, we're hungry and we want to off people.
But yeah, I really like this line from RWBY. Like, I feel like that this was very impactful. Like, this was a really good moment. And I like how Yang goes to comfort her and she just like leaves. And I feel like that Emerald, I don't know if it panned to her face right there, but I think that Emerald actually feels bad if you go and look at her face. Like, she's actually sorry. Like, she's sorry that she did it. You know what I mean?
I think she's she almost looks sorry for what she said.
Yeah.
And she's almost
she's just
trying
like, is
to...
it something I said? Like, she didn't mean it, you know? And so I
it's
think
like
that
that thing where like guys who only grow up in that like thing where you can only like razz each other don't know how to be like emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
I feel like Emerald's kind of doing the same thing. She doesn't really know how to be emotionally vulnerable because everyone she's done that with has either been like, "Ha, nerd," or
exactly,
like, has been totally cold with her. So I really like that as a character.
Because like
and
her
I feel
and
like,
Mercury have that relationship.
because I feel like you know who else had that problem?
Who?
Weiss had that problem.
Did she?
Yeah, she wasn't able to be emotionally vulnerable with people.
Yeah, that's true. Like when you say it like that makes a lot of.
I'm just saying.
Sense.
I'm just saying. I want them to.
But yeah, I really like this. I like this scene with Jean and Nora. So if you guys notice, I don't know if Nora has bare skin here or if she's wearing tights, but it doesn't seem like, based on the concept art, that her scar. Wait, where did John? Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Where did John go?
It doesn't seem like that her scars go all the way down. It seems like it's only on her upper body and it stops like on her stomach, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because like, I don't know, like why would that be? Maybe the veins in your legs are deeper than the veins in your arms, right? I mean, her face didn't get it either, so really it just seems to be an aesthetic choice, not like a, right? You know, like not a...
Which is a shame, because I think giving her like a cool orange eye scar would have been pretty dope.
Yeah, they probably don't want to get her face lost in her hair though, but if that was the case, maybe make it a different color, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind how it is. And so I really like the scene between like her and Ren, but first we'll talk about the scene like as a group, right? So the scars won't go away, and I'm kind of glad for that because I think it's a character thing. Yeah, I would agree with the chat. I don't think it's a new power or anything. Like, her semblance could probably like evolve another step similar to Ren's because she did it, but I don't think like it's a power thinking. I think it's just a reminder, like one day she'll wear that with pride because that's who she is. Like, she's the person that puts herself in danger to help people, because she's really self-deprecating in this scene and like how she feels about herself and stuff like that. And so
I agree.
And so, yeah, like, I really like this. Like, just another ditzy move from Nora, and she mentions that again later, right? And so I really like this scene between, like, her and Ren. And so, like, then she yells at him, and I really like this. And John's just like...
Mom and Dad are fighting!
And so I really like this scene, right? Because I didn't expect Ren to get defensive, but he could have. But instead he didn't. He just admitted fault instead, right? Like, you shove people out so you don't have to feel things that are hard. And I'm like, hello? Yeah. That's what we said.
Really,
that was our analysis of Ren's character.
I really like that they're kind of showing like conflict, like healthy conflict here. Of
exactly.
Like acknowledging what you did wrong, acknowledging why your like past thought processes were flawed.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked it a lot.
I think like this was a nice adult, like mature relationship conversation.
Yes.
So
they're like, they're modeling like mature, like they've grown up.
Yeah, and so I feel like that was really good to have this type of scene, right? And so I think that was really nice, right? So you don't have to feel things that are hard. Yeah, so I really liked that. And then, like, I like how Ren just sort of, you know, instead of getting defensive or not actually, like, answering, because I feel like old Ren would have just, like, left her in silence, right, to some extent, right? He actually, like, opens up and, like, tells them, like, his whole thought process and what he's been thinking this whole time. So I thought that was really good. And I like how Jean's little, like, look up there, right? But then he looks at Nora like Nora's not looking up, too. It's sort of like if you're having an argument and you're just, like pissed face mode, and you just like that looking away face, right? She's still not looking at him, right? But then John looks back at Ren. I said terrible things, and I'm like, well, Nora wasn't there. She doesn't know. I've been so angry at myself for not being as good as the Aesops, for what happened at Robin's rally, and see her face softens there, because I feel like that at first maybe she thought that he meant like the kiss was a mistake, right? But rather it was more like, you know, I guess it was more them not paying attention, but that was also caused by the kiss. And I feel like that may be another factor in Nora's decision too, to like find some of her own time, like as her own person, because she's supposed to be the person that protects people, but they both failed in that instance because they were too busy like fighting with each other and then kissing and making up, right? So it's not even necessarily the kiss. It's like if they were open from the beginning and never fought in the first place, they could have stopped Tyrion, because this all happened because they were fighting, right? So I feel like it's less like, oh, like the kiss was responsible, and more like I still need to find myself, because the whole point of our conflict in that moment was the fact like we didn't know how to express our feelings, and we didn't really know how we felt in a lot of ways. Like we didn't know who we were in a sense, right? So I like that. And then for losing the lamp, I thought if I just focused on working harder, getting stronger I wouldn't fail, right? Because I think he's trying to reinforce, too, that he thought that he was going to carry up the team. You know what I mean? Like, as long as I get strong enough, it doesn't matter what John and Nora do. Like, almost like that sort of thing. So I think that was good. John's the ultimate golden retriever. Yeah, I think that's really true.
I love John so much now. I also think that it has a lot to do with he felt responsible for it.
Yeah.
And so he almost felt like it was insecurity that he needed to push himself better and better, when in actuality, kind of what you went on.
Yeah.
Like, it was a shared burden. It didn't have to be something he dealt with alone. And I really like that.
I really like that. And my biggest failing was as a teammate and as a partner. And I really liked that, right? Like, he tried so hard not to fail that he ended up failing them, right? And so it's almost self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's something we talked about with Ren a lot. And so I feel like that was really good for them to add that. But you see, like, how, you know, she starts to look at him again. And then they look at each other, and I really like this. So apparently some people didn't like this moment, but I think that it actually brings a lot of levity to the situation, and it fits in with Jean's character. Because I feel like that Jean realizes that, like, they need some time alone. And so I think it was a nice comedic moment in an otherwise very serious episode that was needed. Like, some people felt like it went on a little too long, but I feel like that this was, like, really in character. Like, I thought that this was really nice and cute, and, like, tell me that this is, like, there's no heterosexual explanation for this. I feel like some...
No, he's going like this, which kind of implies that it almost looks like he's like,
I'm just saying.
There's a difference between this and like this.
There's some Jean...
Okay, I don't know.
Bisexual Jean vibes.
I'm okay with bisexual Jean vibes.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm down for it. You know.
Oh, boy.
I just don't know if this is solid truth necessarily.
Not solid truth. I'm just saying evidence for bi Jean. Jean has always been awkward. Yes, that's true.
Yes, and it does fit with his character.
Yeah, I think it does.
And also, they kind of needed him out of the room, and I think this is the best way he could do it.
I like how he does. I thought that was cute too, right? And then he just like shuts the door. I really like that, right? And I thought it was nice. You don't need to agree. I just thought that it was nice. So, yeah. I don't think that it was too much or it was like cringy or anything. Like, I think that it was the perfect amount of Jean
just
comedic relief. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I believe.
And so I like this. Oh.
Why did you say anything?
So we failed as a team, but we succeed as a team too. And I'm like, a good lesson. Yes. I think that was really nice. I was the one holding us back, not Jean, not you. And so I feel like that, like, you know, they're both sort of taking a lot of the blame as well. When really, like, you know what I mean? Like, isn't taking the blame sort of the same as taking all the responsibility? So I feel like that Ren, like, even though he's saying, like, I don't need to carry us as a team, he's also blaming himself for everything that happened. But, like, Nora doesn't feel that way. So it's about, like shared responsibility, I guess, right? And so I really like this. And I like, how, I don't know, like, Nora's been, like, really self-deprecating, but I like how Ren, like, comforts her, right? And I like this because it's, like, this is, like, peak argument. I don't want to listen to what you're saying, so I'm just, like, right? Like, I'm not even gonna look at you. Like, she's just so frustrated, I think. You put everything into what you do. You support everyone around you. You help without worrying how it might hurt, right? And so I feel like these are all true things that she has to realize. And maybe we will do an updated theory on it, because I feel like at this point, we aren't going to talk about Winter, Marrow, Crow, and Robin again, because our theory from last week still holds true, right? I feel like that maybe we'll do a separate video on this Renora conversation, but here's what I think about Nora, especially with her, like, interactions with Penny. I wonder if she will be the Winter Maiden, and then that'll be like the thing for her.
And we will have been right from a theory we made like 3 years ago?
Yeah, like in a way, right? Because I don't know, like I could see that as like showing like that is who she is in a sense, right? Because think about like all of these qualities, I guess, right? Like you put everything into what you do, you support everyone around you, you help without worrying how it might hurt. I don't know, like obviously these are qualities of a huntsman, but for some reason like this specifically makes me think of the Maidens and the Maidens story about how they helped the old man, right? And so I feel like that could be a thing, and so I feel like that was nice.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like that maybe it could be pointing to like a I'm the Winter Maiden now, like I inherited this power from the protector of Mantle, and like I will continue to be the protector, right? Like I feel like that's what Nora's identity is really going to be, is like the protector eventually, and so I feel like that would be nice. Good.
It would be nice.
Yeah, I feel like that would help, right? Because then she would realize, like, I'm not just another half of Ren. Like, now, like, I am a maiden, and I have, like my own increased power to protect people.
But I also like the idea that this is kind of, like, showing a healthier relationship, that, like, we can be together but separate beings.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that's something you can find separately, basically, is that her maiden power could be separate, because that is something that she would have gained through her own actions. Because, like, when you think about everything that Nora has gained so far, getting accepted in a beacon and like being a huntress in the first place, all of that is kind of tangentially connected to Ren and Ren's choices, right? Like Ren rescuing her, Ren maybe deciding like to go to Vale, right, from Mistral. We know that they had to like go from Mistral to Vale, right? And so like everything that Nora has so far in terms of like titles, I guess, is like tangentially related to like Ren's choices. It was like, you know, maybe it was both of their decision, but like Ren is sort of like I don't know how to explain it, but like Ren saving her and then them becoming a unit is what pushed her to become a huntsman, to become like, or I guess a student at Beacon, right? They're on the same team, all of that sort of stuff, right? Like Ren is involved in how she became a student at Beacon in Team Juniper and how she became a licensed huntsman. Like Ren is involved in all that. I'm not going to say that he decided all those things, because I do think it was probably a joint effort for them to both go to the school, right? But it's more so that like Ren was involved in all of those choices. Like those were like Nora and Ren choices versus a Nora choice, right? Like Ren was involved in all of those. And so I feel like that she needs something for just herself, and I feel like that there are other ways to do that without the maiden powers, but I feel like the maiden powers could do that because like how she like talked to Penny and like her interactions with Penny were all like without Ren. Like she didn't do that with Ren's help, or she didn't do that as a part of Juniper. She did that like Nora to Penny. So that's basically my argument for that. Like it doesn't need to be the maiden powers, like for her to like find that like inner strength, but like it could be, because that could be like something that she has gained like without anyone's outside influence. It was her that talked to Penny and told Penny about like these other parts of herself. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, that's basically
I agree. I think that would be an interesting way to do it. I think her having powers and her having responsibilities kind of separate to Team Juniper would be really interesting. But I also don't want it to swing too hard in the other direction, that we get like it's the Nora show. Not the Nora show, rather, but like it's, you know, she doesn't interact with...
But she can have the maiden powers.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Right?
No.
Like, why would that...
No.
That would make Nora
I don't meant that like Nora would become too important a character. I think she is important a character, and I like her character. Rather what I meant was that I still want her to interact a lot with Ren and John.
Oh yeah, but I think she's going to.
Yeah.
She's just saying like, I can't like I love you, you know that, but like I sort of like I need to figure myself out before I can.
Whenever someone has said I love you, but
you know what I mean? I don't know.
This may be the only example of someone saying I love you, but that didn't end in heartbreak.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like she loves him, but
Arnold, I love you. But are you Howie Mandel?
Oh, God. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying here is, like, Nora loves Ren. However, which is not that different, but however, like, she can't commit to necessarily, like, committing to still being that unit, or being in that, like, not necessarily marriage, but, like, you think about sacrifice and compromise of being in a unit. She can't necessarily, like, commit to that right now without already knowing who she is outside of the unit. I think that was the idea. Yes. It's like, you can't commit to being a part of a unit until you know who you are separately, right? And so she wants to return his feelings at the right time. Yeah. Exactly. So I feel like that was really... good. She would be stuck in Atlas, but why though? Like the Maidens aren't stuck in Atlas. No. She would just, you know, they would just use the...
Cinder's a maiden. She's pretty international right now.
Yeah, so yeah, Cinder's a maiden, right? Like, as long as they leave the continent, like, what would be the... You know what I mean? Like, what would be the reason? Nora wouldn't have to stay here and guard the relic. Like, as long as the relic's in the vault, she could go to that, you know? Right? Like, think about Raven. Hello? Is anybody here? Okay. We should keep going. It should just keep us going. Hello? Yeah, we should be in the same VOD. Hello? Guys, it wasn't the internet. It was OBS. OBS was like, stop that. No. Yeah, I don't know why, but like sometimes OBS just says like, oh, encoding error. And I'm like, but you were recording for the past 3 hours. Like, what's the encoding error? Like, it just suddenly stops sometimes, but then it like keeps all the previous video and
I'm tired.
We're back. We're back. Don't worry.
Is what I mean.
Oh, I think we went too far.
I think we might have went too far here.
We went too far. Okay, yeah, so don't worry, guys. Like, we're still here. Oh, also, I'm doing this wrong. Hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah. So we're here. Don't worry. Yeah, we need to go back. I went too far. Okay, so yes. Then we got... Even
seeing it in reverse and just with no audio, I still feel it.
Okay, guys, hi. Okay, yeah, so we're back where we were. Yeah, our, like, picture crash. I feel like that for some reason the picture crashes, like, the encoder sometimes, and I don't know why. But yeah, anyway. And so I really like this. Like, this is our first love confession.
Yeah.
Like, real,
and
like...
that's what I love about...
I love you confession.
That's why I love...
Right? And so I really like that. And I like, too, that Ren wasn't, like... hurt about being rejected or anything. Like, he does seem a little concerned right there, but like Ren's not like how could you do this for me, so like to me sort of thing. Like, he is more just you know what I mean? Like, he's worried. He's worried. He's very understanding. I like that he didn't, like, you know, get mad at her or anything. Like, I felt like that this wasn't a rejection. Like, at first I kind of, like, in my reaction, I was like, oh my god. But, like,
I was concerned.
You know, this wasn't a rejection of his feelings. This was just, I'm confirming your feelings, but not
I feel the same way.
But we're not dating at the moment, I guess. You know? And so, yeah, I don't know.
Also, I did not suspect that we would get, like, Nora background story. And part of me wonders, like, maybe that explains, like, why she was so clingy with Ren. It's because she was abandoned by her mother. Maybe the fact that she felt like she had no identity outside of Nora and Ren was because she just wanted to latch on to someone and not let them go away, like their mother did. I think that communicates. That's what I love about the newer seasons of RWBY, is that they get very good at just sort of, through very little dialogue.
Kind of like Marrow, right?
Yeah, communicating a lot about these characters and about sort of our understanding of them.
And so they say, like, he sees her emotions and doesn't take them the wrong way. Exactly, right? And then, yeah, first love confession, and, well, I don't think that Pyrrha and John count, right? So, yeah, I think not as a love confession. She didn't say that she loved him. She just kissed him. So, that's my opinion.
They liked each other.
I think that this is, like, what am I trying to say? This is the first love confession. Okay, sure. Confession of, like, hard love, you know? Like, as opposed to, like, dating, I guess. Sure. Or, like, or crushing or whatever, right? Like, there's levels, right?
Why not?
And so, yeah, so we get background about her mom, and this takes me back to that, like, misconstrued quote from Samantha Ireland, who said that we'd get Nora backstory or something, and then we all thought that Freya was the grandma because of her saying that. And then that didn't happen, and so I wonder, like, if
maybe this is what
she was sort of talking about, is that, like, Nora would develop more than Nora was getting backstory. Like, she would get it in this, like, you know, develop in this way. But yeah, when my mom ran from the Grim, you found me. So can we just unpack all that, okay? Like, so...
was her and her mom, like, vagrants?
Okay, so, like... Here's the thing, people were saying, or not people, but like in the previous volumes, didn't they say like, oh, Nora's clothes are weird, which sort of implied she wasn't from around here? So I feel like that this, like, there's something more to this, and I wonder if we'll ever find out, because like, I don't know what clothes these are exactly, right? Like, I don't know if these are like Atlas clothes or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure that they were at least like, they're either Veil clothes or Atlas clothes. They didn't seem like Vacuo clothes in that thingy. And so, like, with that, I just wonder if we're gonna find out more about this, because, like, she basically says, like, hey, like, my mom, like, ran from the Grim and abandoned me, right? But I'm like, but who was your mom for you to be here in the first place? Because she wasn't from Mistral. That was the whole thing, right? I don't know. her mom wasn't around, right? Like, she just sort of wandered, right? She just sort of wandered in, and they were like, her clothes are so weird. Like, this is so weird. And so I just wonder, like, is there something more to this? Like, do you guys think that Raven dresses in a way similar to Nora? You know? Like...
Maybe? I don't know.
Wait, does this mean that when Ren first saw Nora being bullied, her mom was alive, but then during the attack, her mom died? Yeah, so maybe her mom was like a traveling person?
Which I feel like could, like, what if she was from Atlas and tried to escape, like, in a desperate situation?
Yeah, like, maybe, like, Nora's mom, so basically what you're saying, Hunter, Nora's mom was from Vale or Atlas, and then moved to this town, and then...
Or, like, I don't even think, like I think ran away.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, more, like, it wasn't even remotely, like, formal.
Like, maybe they were living in the town? Like, basically, like, they had arrived in the town.
I imagine that they're, like, homeless. That they're a homeless person running away from something.
And then they were sort of temporarily there.
Yes.
Yeah. It makes more sense if the abandonment happened before getting to Ren's town,
I guess
though.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So I'm sort of thinking, though, that maybe, like, that her mom was a part of, like, a tribe like Raven or something. That was sort of my idea, was that they could have just been passing through type of thing. But yeah, I don't know what to make of it so far. Because
right, because when they do find her, like, she's dirty and she wants food.
It makes more sense for Nora to have been abandoned. So it's like maybe she ran from the Grimm, like, before. Like, they were just together and the Grimm attacked them on the way to wherever they were going. But I'm like, but where were you going? Where did you come from? Like, there's still so many questions. Right? And I wonder if we'll ever know. We may never know.
No.
Right? So I think that, like, maybe she, like, like, you guys are basically saying it makes more sense for her to have been abandoned, like before she got to Ren's town, and then she just sort of, like, you know, they're on the way to Ren's town. She runs through the forest, and then she, like, finds the town, but her mom's already dead, like, stuff like that, right?
What if our theory about the pirate theory for Cinder was totally correct, except it wasn't right for Cinder?
Really,
it was right for Nora.
But yeah, it seems like she was an orphan when she was being bullied. Yeah, so I don't know.
I think this is definitely a type of thing we're going to learn a little more about.
That'd be nice, maybe.
But even right now...
Also, what is it with the moms just being, like,
horrible
bad?
people in
RWBY? I mean,
RWBY.
kind of the dads... I mean, we just kind of have Jacques for terrible,
Willow's...
though.
Actually, Kaylee's good.
Because think about, like, the ratio of bad dads to bad moms. Like, we have Jacques, but then we have Raven and Nora's mom.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
But yeah, anyway. Is there any dad I'm forgetting? I don't think so.
Tai Yang was rough for
Tai Yang was like a 0.5. Like,
he was a borderline case.
Yeah, and so we became Ren and Nora, and I really like this. But I realized on this mission apart, I don't know who just Nora is, and so I thought that was good, right? But, like, I don't know, Ren looks just a little sad. And if I'm ever gonna find out, then I have to do it alone. And so I feel like that, like, I really like this scene. At first I was like, but now I'm like, okay.
But I've always loved you, Ren.
Yeah, because I've always loved you, and so I thought that was nice, right? And so, like, his head is doing a lot better, right? And so I thought that was cute, right? But, like, her head still isn't clear. And I would just like to say that, like, I don't know if we ever said this. I would have to go back in our OP analysis and check. Maybe we did, but, like, Phoenix fucking called this yesterday. If you guys didn't watch Phoenix Knight's video about, like, relationships, like, in the show, so he talked about, like, Bumblebee, and then he talked about, like, Renora, and he talked about some other stuff. Like, he basically said, like, verbatim, and I'm not sure, like, maybe we did say this, like, during our OP analysis, but we haven't said it recently, so I don't remember. But he said that, he noticed that Ren catches the rose petal that represents love, but Nora, and it flies away, right? And so it was sort of like, I think that we may have talked about it in the context more of, Ren will realize his feelings, but for Nora, it'll be too late somehow. Like, we were thinking that more in Death Flags, but it seems like Phoenix was on point in terms of, like, that Ren said his feelings, but that Nora didn't necessarily, like, commit right now.
Yes.
Right? So that's what Phoenix was saying, is that he predicted, like, Ren would say his feelings, but Nora, for some reason, like, wouldn't, like, you know, wouldn't return them at this very moment. So yeah, that was pretty good. That was, goated moment from Phoenix.
To an extent, Nora did return, like, they both love each other.
Like,
it's
you know
about
what I mean, right? Like, it was more about, like, he basically predicted that Nora would say this, is what I'm sort of trying to say. But yeah, and so I think that this was really nice. And so, like, I like this, though, because, like, I feel like what happened here is that, here's why I think that this whole scene, like, contextually changes, I guess. Ren realizes that Nora is doing this out of love. She is doing this out of love and respect for him, right? Like, she is saying this not to reject him or to, like, hurt his feelings or something. Like, she is saying this because she loves him so much, right? And so that's what he sees when she looks at her. And so he knows that this isn't out of, like, politeness of, Ren, like, yeah, sure, like, I just need to work on myself.
Down easy.
I'll come back,
it's
right?
Not
like,
me, it's you.
It's
Wait,
you,
no, other thing. Not...
Right? And so, like, it's not like that at all, right? Like, I don't think that, that it was like, you know, like, just, like, how you, like, tell a guy, oh, sure, like, yeah, we'll schedule another date or something, and then you never go back, right? Like, stuff like that, right? And so I feel like that instead, what changed Ren's entire, like, feelings, right, is that he looked at her and realized that she is not doing this because she does not love him. She is instead doing it because she loves him so much. Because you wouldn't think to necessarily, I don't know, like, it's hard to explain, but it's like she has so much respect for Ren that she cannot, I guess, be with Ren, like, until she does this. Because, like, anything else would be a disservice to Ren. That's how I sort of see it. Like, that's, my opinion. Okay, so yeah, I want Winter to I want Winter to join with Crow and Robin. Yeah, that's what we sort of talked about. We have a video about that, actually, but yeah, I really like this because, like, Nora thinks that, like, that's, like, such a sad thing, but, like, Ren's like, it's definitely okay, because you're doing it fully out of, like, love and, like, stuff like that. And so I thought that this was a really sweet scene, right? And I like that he boops her, right? Because that's, like, their thing, you know, it's really, really nice. And see, like, it's even like they still hold hands afterwards. Yeah. They're not like,
it's like, still like
Nora and Ren
romantic.
Like aren't canon. Like, it's a romantic scene still, and I think that look at this, and then they do the same head touch that Blake and Yang do. So I thought that was like 10 out of 10. Would scene again. So yeah, at first I was like, oh no, Nora's rejecting him, but I realized that this is the most confirmation she could ever give him. Like, this isn't a rejection. That was actually like her own love confession. Like, I love you so much that I need to do this first to be like the best for you, or to be fair to you, right? And so I thought that was nice. Let's talk about Crow, okay? And so, yeah, Crow. Crow. Right, and so Robin's like, so like, oh god, so we took a picture of this a couple times because Hunter thought that the sword was clipping,
but I just
but
love
it wasn't
that
clipping. It like actually moved.
I like the idea that it's like a fully extended sword. Like, I like to imagine like
locker.
Some soldier was like, God damn it, how do I collapse this? And he spent like 15 minutes on it, and he was just like, screw it, I'm gonna get like one of the bike lockers and just stuff it in there.
But yeah, I really like this scene with Robin and Crow because I feel like that, again, this is what we predicted, that Crow would be like murder and Robin would be like jail, right? Like justice, right? And so I feel like that, like, she
fair
was
trial.
Right, yeah, and so I really like this. Like, I like how they go down the hallway. I really like, and then I guess they take out these guys, it's sort of implied, right? And then they go for the elevator, right? And so I think that this was really interesting, right? There might be a better way. And so she's like saying, like, she's still trying to push for jail time, right? Very similar to how she felt about Jacques, I guess, right? Like, in a way. We're just gonna deal with that silence, okay? But yeah. Oh god.
I like, it's like an ideological, I also like that it's not even, I was about to say it's an ideological difference. It really isn't ideological, it's personal. Yeah. Versus ideology.
Robin is probably ideological.
Yeah, Robin's
she thinks
like,
that people should get justice and be thrown in jail.
And fairness and equality.
And Crow probably thinks that people should be thrown in jail too, but sometimes there are people
sometimes
so bad that you can't
murder
throw
people
them in jail. Yeah, exactly. And so, I think,
but it's also interesting of like when she's willing to like bend the rules and when she's not, because she'll rob shit.
She has standards. Right?
But, like, you know, we're not going to just murder a general.
Yeah, and so I really like that, right?
We're going to kick his ass. but we're not gonna go the next step.
And so I really like that. Like, I like that because, I mean, that's kind of what we said too,
Yeah.
that the conflict would be sort of between them, is that Robin's more justice and Crow's more murder, right? And so I really like that, right? Or we fail and people get killed, right? So that's the other thing, is that she's also concerned for Mantle. Like, what if she kills him and then everyone in Mantle dies too? And so I feel like that's what she's saying here. It's not even ideological, like, we shouldn't kill people because killing people is bad, they should face jail time. It's also, we shouldn't kill people because we may fail and then everyone in Mantle will die, right? So it's that as well. And I think that Crow is, like, so sure that he won't fail. Also, you guys are saying Team Caw for Crow, Raven, Robin, and Winter, but, like, how does Marrow work in there? That would be interesting if you guys could work Marrow in there somehow. Because maybe you could do, like, actual, like, Crow with a Marrow letter.
Wait, no, because Marrow's last name is A.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so C.
So instead of Robin, you could put Marrow, right?
Yeah.
So you could put C-A...
no,
RW.
The H is for Hill.
Yeah, but Robin is R.
But her last name is Hill.
Why are you using her last name?
Because you can use her last name.
But you can, but why would you? We're trying to do Caw, though.
I know,
okay, you could do an H sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could do
Q?
C... Wait, okay, yeah.
Q,
H. Q for Crow. So, Q, A, H, W?
Yes.
Caw. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we worked Marrow in there. Yeah, and so you guys are saying Requiem. I don't know who told you that. I don't care. We like Caw in this house. Okay, so I'll spell it.
We like Caw in this house.
Okay, so hold on. I'll spell it for you guys. Like that, right, Hunter? Oh, wait, that's a C. That's not it. What do I do? Okay, yeah.
This is the first time I think, like,
Caw.
an automatopoeia.
Like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Team Caw.
I spelled it wrong. The H has to go first.
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. We've been streaming for like 2 hours. Anyway, he deserves this, and I like this because
okay.
No, not for like stuff like that. I like this because like she's trying to protect him, but I don't know what he's trying, like what they're trying to protect from. Like I think like Crow's just being
too loud,
right? Some people.
He's got it. I like a difference between Crow's going off of rage and emotion, and Robin is still trying to be like a professional.
Yeah.
About
Can
it.
we talk about this? Okay. I'm a little like, why are you backing up like this? I'm a little split on this. Okay.
Okay.
On one hand, like, let's make this perfectly clear. I do not particularly want Robin and Crow to be a thing. That is my, like, stance on it, if you want to call it that. I don't care if people ship it in fan fiction or draw art or whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't care. However, I don't think that there is anything the show can do to convince me that this is, like, a natural conclusion to their relationship. Like, they seem very brother and sister, and stuff like that, right? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just me. I thought that, Robin was supposed to be the sister he didn't have, you know, because, like, obviously all that stuff with Raven happened, right? But some people see this as, like, romantic because it's like, oh, both of their semblance has caused them to lose out on personal relationships, right? Like, there's, like, you know, there's the bird thing and the, I don't know, like, a bunch of stuff like that. However, some people are seeing this scene as, like, a romantic...
So listen...
Pushing up against
They
the
don't
wall
know
thing.
how to make a proper romantic push against the
But
wall
Hunter,
sexual
it's
tension
not
scene.
romantic. Like,
Sexual
you know what
tension
I mean?
scene.
Like, it's not romantic on purpose.
This isn't even a sexual tension scene. If it was sexual tension, they would have held it close. And they would have said something very curt and demanding to one another.
I don't know.
But then they immediately cut to the wide shot.
Maybe.
And nothing's less sexy than a wide shot.
I just think that, like, I understand what you're saying, but does RWBY really do romantic, like, other than Nora and Ren kissing and, like, the whole slow-mo thing, like, does RWBY really use romantic camera tropes? I think it's more the action of Robin and Crow being this close that is making people freak out.
Listen, I agree that people are freaking out. I just personally, and if RWBY does it, then I disagree, because they didn't do a good job of it.
So, like, I don't want it. I don't want it. However, I think that people are starting to build the blocks. So
like in the Jean Pura kiss, they were closer than that. They held the camera close.
Kissing.
Yeah, but they held the camera close. They didn't immediately cut wide. They eventually went wide, but this was like filmed. It looked like someone creeping in on them. This was filmed from across the room.
Like I said, there is nothing wrong with shipping it. Okay.
Yeah, if you ship it, God bless you.
But I'm a little bit like I don't know what's going on here, but I have a feeling deep inside of my heart that the writers may go for it, and they may make Robin and Crow canon.
Listen,
that's how I feel deep inside.
Robin has 3 girlfriends at home.
I know, that's the other thing, right? But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like, no, again, like I said this on Twitter, but it doesn't mean that I agree with their choice to do that. But for some reason, deep down, I feel like that the plan from the beginning was probably to make Crow sad and then have Robin, like, unsad him. And I'm a little concerned about that. I have concerns, that's all I'm saying.
Like,
maybe I'm being too skeptical.
If they do it well, sure.
Yeah.
But will they?
But is there a way to do it well, though? Because I think then you're sacrificing Clover for the development of like a heterosexual couple, right?
And so well, that was one of the things that Phoenix predicted, and I didn't agree with Phoenix on that, but he was right about the other stuff, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like that one bit.
Yeah, I don't ship it, but I feel it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
I understand.
I feel it like deep down. Again, it's not just with this specific shot, guys. It's just like this shot included in a myriad
but
of
like
other
look at that
stuff.
shot. Like look at how wide they went, and there was no moment of staring longingly in each other's eyes.
Why don't I want it? I think that's a big question for today.
Personally, maybe we could do a whole video on this, but why I don't want it is, one, I feel like Robin has, 3 reasons.
Robin
one,
has a polyamorous group of lesbians at home.
2, I feel like for this relationship to really spark, they need to spend more time with one another, and I feel like just the story doesn't have room for that.
I feel like it would be a little rushed. I feel like the only thing that could happen is maybe, like, Crow stays here, but it's ambiguous, like, what, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he's like, oh, yeah, I'll help out the Happy Huntresses or something. But I feel like that doesn't work either, because, like, okay, so this is another thing, okay? Here's another reason why I don't want this to happen. Yeah. Because in RWBY Before the Dawn, did you read Before the Dawn?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, so
you read my copy of RWBY Before the Dawn.
Okay, so with RWBY Before the Dawn, there's Headmaster Theodore.
Yeah.
Love him. Stan. Have no choice but to stan. So for Theodore, he has a picture of just him and Crow in his, like, office or something, right? And so I sort of wonder about that, and I sort of wonder if there's, like, something, I don't know. Theodore just has gay energy, and I feel like that, he seems to have a very close friendship with Crow, and I feel like that Crow staying in Atlas would do a disservice to the perceived, like, friendship or relationship that they could possibly have based on the foreshadowing of the books.
I also feel like,
and that's just my interpretation. I'm not saying, like, oh, yeah, like, for sure they did this because they want Crow and Theodore to talk, but yeah, like, I understand, I don't know, I understand the idea of him staying in Atlas, but now because of the Theodore set, like, that's something that we said to cut down on, like, you know, how many people in the cast there are, is that Crow could eventually, like, deviate and, like, not go with the kids anymore. Like, that was our whole thing at some point. But now I'm sort of like, I feel like he has to go see Theodore after the Theodore stuff that we got. So yeah. I don't know.
I agree with that. I also feel like I wouldn't be crazy if he stayed. I think certain characters staying back and helping with Atlas, like Winter, I think, like, some of the Aesops, if they turn good. Maybe even Pietro. Maybe even, to an extent, maybe Penny. Yeah. But I feel like Crow, they have such a relationship with Ruby and Yang and the rest of them that he couldn't leave. Unless maybe Penny goes with the rest of the team and Crow's like, you're an adult now, I need to protect these people.
I don't know.
But, and I trust you.
Yeah, like, maybe, somebody said, like, in the chat, and I think this is a good point, like, Robin wouldn't come with them to Vacuo. Like, Robin would stay in Mantle. Robin would never abandon Mantle unless there's nothing more of Mantle left, maybe. Right? Like, maybe that's what I could see. But, like, otherwise, like, Crow staying here is a little like, But, like, Robin wouldn't go with them anyway. So, like, the relationship would be pointless. Whereas, like, friendship would be fine. Stay in touch.
Sure,
right? You know? But,
in case we need you for the finale.
I don't want to see Crow leave Ozpin's side. Yeah, I agree. I think that that's like another point too. And so that's sort of my thing is like with the Robin stuff. I don't see like a point in making them romantic because eventually they would have to leave each other anyway. So just to have a brother and sister, I helped you with your trauma, you helped me with my trauma, also, hug it out and then leave. I just see them as such bros. Like
I also like the idea of Crow, like, because before Crow got his identity from Ozpin, then he got it from, to an extent, Clover, like identity and peace with himself. I like the idea of him not getting that from an external source and him
just
learning
finding
that,
itself,
finding
kind of
it
like
with
Nora.
himself, kind of like Nora.
Yeah.
I think I want that for him more than I want. Not that I don't like. I really like the idea of him hooking up with the vacuum.
Theodore.
Yeah, with Theodore. I like that idea. But
I think
I do kind of want, and maybe that could be the Theodore moment.
I feel the Crow and Theodore here. So yeah,
right in the jellies.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything like that's just our opinion. Like it's not like a hard fact or anything. It's just like on one hand, I just wonder, but on the other hand, I don't know, right? Like I wonder what would happen if Robin, like, what if Mantle exploded and everyone died? Where would Robin go?
You want to know what sexual tension looked like? That Ironwood Crow hug from Volume 7, where they interrupt each other speaking and they hold each other. That's intention.
If Atlas falls, there probably wouldn't be any Mantle because it would be crushed. But like that's more of a reason to rebuild the city than to Exodus to Vacuo. But I don't know. It could go many ways. Yeah, Ruby said that relationships need to be earned. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Like I don't think there's enough time to do this right now. And so like Robin would either need to come with. I feel like it would at least need to take like another 2 volumes or a volume and a half maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think they're besties, all right? They're like gay solidarity besties.
Absolutely. Yes, I think it's lesbian, bisexual, or potentially lesbian gay solidarity.
Exactly. Clover was a lot of things. You respected him, but I gotta tell ya, I think you're the better huntsman. And I think that, like, Robin knew Clover to some extent. Like, I had that feeling that, like, you know, Clover's yelled at her before for trying to do, like, the illegals and stuff like that, the illegal things, and, like, Robin's blown him off, and they sort of have this, like, I don't know, like, it's one of those
I imagine it's like an Elmer Fudd Bugs Bunny
exactly. That's how I felt about, like, Clover and Robin, like, back then, right? She knew him maybe more than Crow did. Like, Crow saw this, like, idolized version of Clover, but not, like, you know what I mean? Not the real Clover that maybe Robin saw, like, every day and stuff. You're the one who walked away, but it's because you're the one who was fighting for what was right. And so I thought that that was a good thing, too. Like, are you not, you know what I mean? Like, are you not believing in justice? Are you not going to fight what was right anymore? And I like this scene, too, because, like, this is very, like, I don't know, like, just the way she said it was very, like, aggressive almost, and I feel like that Crow kind of needed that. But I feel like that he's also not necessarily taking what she said to heart either. Right? I feel like he's not convinced looking at her at the same time. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and so then the elevator dings, and so here's our whole thing, okay? Yeah. The elevator dings, Marrow and Winter are inside, they all go back up, fight Ironwood. That was our theory from...
Not last time, but time before that.
Yeah, like that was our theory from last week. And so like, I think that theory is still like pretty relevant. Like the whole idea of like, oh, like Marrow, Winter, Crow and Robin are all gonna defect. It's happening.
Also, Shane in the chat says, I like the sisterhood ended with Raven. Robin is my new sister.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Bird and starts with R, but this one nicer and has good friends. I like that Crow mentality there.
I don't think, so people are, okay, so this is interesting, I guess. The person in the elevator is Clover. If it was Winter or Marrow, they wouldn't have lowered their weapons. I don't think that that's necessarily, that's kind of interesting.
If that's Clover, I will shit myself. Like, there's no way.
I think they would lower their weapons, though, if Winter was like this.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if Winter had her hands up, wouldn't they lower the weapons? Or what if Raven and Taiyang are in the elevator? Imagine. That makes absolutely no sense, though. Because who would she teleport to?
Unless she like knew someone in the building?
That's just like, hello! Like,
what if in the background, in one of the shots earlier this volume, you just see, like, a closing Raven portal or something?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
If that's Crow, if that's Taiyang and Raven, first off, we get to pop 2 party poppers 2 weeks in a row.
I don't think it's Clover. They wouldn't. Not without an explanation. His body was dead.
You saw his corpse.
Wasn't it?
It was pale.
Wasn't it dead?
It was in the fucking...
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it would be surprising to them if Winter is like...
His name is in the
Hands
obituary
up, you know?
column. Like, he's dead.
I don't know.
There's like that magic Max thing where it's just like, you know, mostly dead, very dead. He is entirely dead.
That's how I feel too. I don't think. That's it.
Which is why I make YouTube videos.
Crack theory is Raven and Ty.
Yes.
Real theory is Winter and Marrow, and they're lowering their weapons because they realize that something about Winter and Marrow is different. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's who they would lower their weapons for, because they would be like, oh, Winter and Marrow,
what
and
if
they're
it's
like
like
unarmed, like,
what
are
if
they
it's
doing?
like Maria? I don't know.
It's Maria and Pietro
Maria and Pietro, and they're breaking into the building.
Oh
I
my
can
god,
see that.
it's Raven and Ty, absolutely.
I
But
kinda
why
want-
would Robin have an expression? Robin wouldn't know who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? They teleported near... So basically, like, they teleported during the explosion and they've just been walking around. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
I feel like
maybe.
this makes no sense for... Why would Robin lower her weapon? She doesn't know who Ty is. It has to be someone she knows.
Yeah. So
It has to be
Yeah.
Marrow and Winter. That's... Yes.
Maybe she gets like a Wags.
Has to be
thing.
Marrow and Winter. All right, let's talk
Let's
about
try to
Ruby
think
and her.
Let's try to think of a more crack theory. What if it's Adam
Oh, God.
and Shopkeep?
Let's talk about Ruby and her emotional,
What if it's Oobleck
emotional support panel.
and Oobleck
And Port?
and Port,
No,
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
I know,
Oh,
but
gosh.
neither does Tai Yang and Raven.
Okay.
We're going with
So,
that.
I really need to use the bathroom, and I'm afraid to leave Hunter with you guys.
Oh, you
as
absolutely
long as you don't
should
do
be.
anything bad, don't
Okay.
embarrass me again.
Okay, again.
Just like
Again?
last time.
Yeah, go to the bathroom. You see,
Yeah.
this is why I have a catheter.
Don't do anything that would
Okay.
get us banned from YouTube.
Okay,
Please
sure.
do, okay.
All
I'm
right.
listening, by the way.
All right, are you ready for this, guys? Are you ready for this? Oh, I like how this feels. Oh, I have power now. Oh, this is a really uncomfortable chair, and the butt is unnecessarily warm. Oh, I am the captain now. Okay. All right. So no one, like, Cal's asleep. She's peeing. She can't do anything. Like, what are we doing here? I don't know. I have nothing else to say other than that, because, like, suddenly I'm... Hunter, what do you want to talk about? I think that... what should I talk about? I have this... It's like I have this opportunity, but I don't know what to talk about. And now she's back, and I'm gonna have to give up the chair, and I'm really upset about this.
Hi.
Okay, all right. I couldn't think of when I had the moment there. I couldn't think of anything.
Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, the doctor said like my kidneys will explode. Anyway,
I'm the collector
what did
now.
you guys do?
Literally nothing. I wasn't able to give any moment. I had a moment of becoming the captain, and now we're back onto it. Because I'm like, what am I gonna say? Just give my feelings about this really soul-crushing emotional scene?
I love your shirt.
Black is my favorite color to paint my nails. Now that the Hunter Q&A is ready.
Oh God.
Nothing important happened. Let's
I guess
move
not.
on to the
Okay.
next scene.
Sure. Anyway, opportunity squandered. Oh man. But yeah, so let's talk about this very emotional moment. I think it was nice that they had like a moment as sisters because people complain about that like
a lack of,
all the time.
and I love just how like I love that this is I don't think
It's
I've ever
fluid,
seen Ruby so like emotionally
Yeah.
distraught before, that she's just like hugging on to the pillars and just looks so sad.
And I think that this is nice because like Yang tries to cover it up with jokes again, and then I
Yeah.
think she remembers what Ren said about like Ren saying, "Oh, you don't need to cover up everything with jokes all the time, right?" Like it, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that was really good. I feel like that maybe it's Glinda. Again, Robin doesn't know who Glinda is, guys.
But like maybe she would know because she's probably the
No.
new head mistress of.
No.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't
it's
know.
an option.
But yeah, like I like how Yang starts out with a joke because like you know, that's Yang's MO, but then she changes, like, to, you know, like, to be more serious, because that's, I think, what RWBY kind of needs, right? Did she tell you what was underneath, right? And so again, like, Yang covers it up with jokes because she doesn't want to think about that sort of stuff. And I think she actually said, like, that we don't have to think about that. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah.
She was just like, oh, like, don't think about that, right? So at first, jokes. Second,
Yeah.
oh, don't worry about that,
Yeah.
right? Brushing it off, right? But then, like, she actually has to be honest and, like, open with their feelings, which I think that was really good. And so she says, that's what happened to Mom, right? And suddenly
it makes that scene in Volume 7 where you see, like, Summer, and it's that, like, everything's dark and she looks sad and there's that horrible noise. It just makes everything so much more impactful and saddening.
Yeah.
And, oh, God.
And I think we're definitely getting to a pinnacle point with, like, this Summer reveal. Like, I guess you could say that RWBY told us what happened, but I don't think that it's just going to stay as this. It is going to be, like, an actual Summer reveal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a real one where we actually, like, see her, I guess, or whatever. And so I feel like that, like, we've talked about this for the whole season. Like, they're building up to something with Summer, but I don't think this was it. I think that this is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
In the build-up, but that Salem will reveal that Summer's around. You know what I'm saying? Or that Summer has been grimified or something like that. And so I feel like that is something that's going to happen. And so I feel like that's going to be, like, an interesting thing. Like, I feel like that they're coming to a precipice with that. And so I think that that's actually really interesting. Some people think that the Wyvern is Summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Wyvern is Summer.
Yeah, I think
that's a Hunter original over here.
Hunter had that theory, actually, and I think that it was interesting, too, because Summer was almost cursed to take down the place that she had sworn to protect, like Vale and stuff. So I think that that's, like, really true. I think that that's gonna be, like, a big thing. I don't know, though, like, about the Wyvern, just because it seems so basic, but, like, that was Volume 3, right? Yeah. So it's been a long time since we've seen it.
Dominic mentioned something about Summer or Cinder will be RWBY's big bad wolf. I kind of like the idea how, like, Summer also became a wolf, just like the wolf pretended to be
the
Little
grandma.
Red Riding Hood's grandma.
Yeah, exactly. I think that that's
there.
good. Yang's crying was kind of weird to me a little bit. I don't know. It was all, like, you would have to see it in motion, but, like, she just started crying. Like, I don't know how to explain
I interpreted that. I interpreted that as her walls were, like, all of her walls. First, humor, you knock that down. Then was, like, denial, you knock that over. And then she was just forced to face what happened to this person that she loved, like her mother. Like, dying horribly.
And so I think that that's, like, really important, right? Is that, I don't know, like, I guess it makes sense for it to be sudden, but it was kind of weird, and I don't know why.
But I honestly...
I liked her crying, though. I know that's such a weird thing to say. I liked the fact that she showed that type of emotion, is what I'm trying to say.
When she was sad.
Right? Like, I think that it was nice that, you know, Yang finally, like, relieved herself of her emotion, but, like, look at how stupid her outfit is, though. Like, when you really, like, look at it, though, you know
like
what
that
I'm
outfit.
saying? Like, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but there's something about this big emotional moment, and then one of her belts coming loose like that it's flailing around on the side of her arm.
Listen, you don't always look good when you're having an emotional breakdown.
I know, yeah.
As someone who regularly has emotional breakdowns,
I'm just saying,
Yang is way more put together
I'm just
than
saying that I think that this was a little bit silly and a little distracting.
Also, most people don't pause the video, so most people wouldn't notice.
I'm just saying that was a little odd to me.
But I
agree with you guys that, like, she is. I think it's a reality of everything. Yeah. Like, it's all catching up to her.
I also love how. I love the Barbara Dunkelman's and Lindsay Jones's voice acting here.
Yeah.
I think Lindsay, especially, I've never heard them perform as RWBY so, like, dead before and so sad.
You know what I think it is about the crying, guys? I think that it's the fact that, like, they don't, like, RWBY character faces sometimes, like, Yang doesn't, like, scrunch up her face at all when she's crying. Like, it's a perfectly neutral face, and her nose doesn't, like, move at all. I think that may be what's it. Because, like, you know when sometimes
how much does your nose,
I don't know. My
nose wiggle, like, from charm?
My mom says that I have, like, a scrunchy face when I start to cry. Like, everything,
oh, yeah,
I don't know, everything, like, goes like this. And so I think that
it's like when you get a pug, and you grab and you just push all their face.
I think that like that's the thing that's uncanny about it a little, because the eyebrows do furl, but like there's nothing happening in terms of the movement of the face, and like I haven't seen people just cry a single tear down their cheek and
like
stuff.
The sexy cry.
So maybe that was it. Like maybe that's what's uncanny to me. It may just be limitations of the character.
But I also feel like every once in a while people like animate like a character crying like very
like too
intensely
much?
And it's almost too much.
Yeah.
It almost feels a little too juicy, for lack of a better word. Like Deku, that's that famous scene of Deku crying when he learns in My Hero Academia when he learns he doesn't have a quirk.
Yeah, and so I don't want it like too over dramatic, but that's like I think where it got a little uncanny, right, for me. But yeah. And so RWBY says like as soon as I saw it I knew, right? Salem used to kill people with silver eyes, like Maria, right? But she always wanted me alive. Guys, is this not literally what I've been saying since Maria was introduced?
Yeah, you've been saying that.
Because I've been saying, okay, and I say it exactly like that too. Look at any video and I promise you, you will find the exact phrase. They wanted to kill Maria, but then they started capturing people. So what changed? Summer, right? Like that was like our whole thing. And so I feel like that, like I feel so validated right now because it's literally like the exact sentence like I've been saying. I know I'm not the only one, but I've been saying, and I felt so good about it just because like we figured it out. Like as soon as we saw that Maria's eyes were like, you know, cut out and that silver-eyed warriors used to be killed, but she wanted RWBY alive, like we figured it out. Even though we didn't know what Summer would have been for, we said it. Yeah.
We said it.
Yes, for real. This is exactly word for word what you said. Exactly. And I'm like, yeah.
I said Summer being a hound, I think that, I don't know, we're looking like in next couple like episodes until the end of the volume, I'm thinking we're going to have a lot of L's.
Yeah.
Or sorry, W's. A lot of W's in the theory department. Going back a very long time, I think, as well.
I agree. I think so. This is going to be really good. But why would that change unless... Right? Yeah, and so she learned she could do something new. That's what we were saying. I was like, yes, bitch! Like, let's go! Like, I'm so happy about this.
You're so happy about such a horrifying scene.
I know, but I'm happy like...
RWBY looks like she has post-traumatic stress disorder.
I'm happy that we were right kind of way, right? We shouldn't lie to ourselves. I wasted our time getting Amity up, thinking help would come, but it didn't, okay? So here's the thing. Okay, I think that this validates our theory about Tai Yang and Raven coming more, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, Tai has been an absent father a little bit. Okay,
maybe.
No, seriously, like Tai was absent for a lot of RWBY's
emotionally absent.
Yes, emotionally absent for a lot of RWBY's like childhood and stuff like that. Like they talk about that. And so now, like, she thinks that Amity was, like, a waste of, you know, like, a waste of time. Nobody's gonna come help them. And so would it not be most fitting if Tai and Raven show up? Like, after all this time of Tai not necessarily being there for RWBY, like, in her dire moment of need, the people that both abandoned RWBY and Yang in different ways show up to finally, like, take on the mantle and, like, you know... They get the balls to go over, right? Like, they get the balls to go over there. Because think about it, it's not just Tai, but also Raven. Like, Raven abandoned Yang, but she's finally coming, like, to her aid,
to be a better
right?
mother.
She's trying to be a better person, right? And so I feel like that with,
And she's decided not to run away from Salem anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I also feel like, but before we see that, I feel like we need to get, like, a Raven Tai Yang scene where they
decide. I don't think so.
Do you think?
I think they should just pop up.
Okay.
I think they should just show up and then explain after.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because really, does it take that much explaining? Raven saw it. She knew she could help people get there fast if she could open portals for people. That's how I think, right? So yeah. Absent, they left him. Well, they left Tai, but I'm saying like in their childhood.
Emotionally. He wasn't a provider.
Yeah, like he was very closed off after what happened to Summer for a lot of years, and it's implied that like Yang had to like, you know, take on the responsibility, right? And so I think that like Tai and Raven showing up would kind of make it a full circle thing, is that the people that she thought abandoned them actually came to help them, and I feel like that would be very nice, right?
People are talking in the chat, how about it'd be better if it's a surprise. I agree with you. I don't know, maybe it's just because I imagine the scene so much, but I also feel like if an episode opened in like Patch, we would be yelling the same way if they just showed up in
I guess.
I don't know, you know? It's
yeah.
I don't know, but I understand. It is a fair point. I understand where people are coming from.
And so she says she was being childish, and I like that, right? Because it's like, you know, like the what we thought would change the world.
But I also like how Yang's
that
going
one.
against that. Like, you were being optimistic, fighting, even if it doesn't always work.
And I think that, like, you know, it's what Blake said to her, right? Like, RWBY has been that pinnacle of optimism that no one else can really have. And I like this. Blind optimism isn't great. Thank you.
Yes.
Right? Like, you know, I like the shows where the character's best trait is also their character flaw.
Yes.
Right? Like, your optimism is
that's a good point.
pinnacle, like, is the pinnacle of your character, but it can also be your fatal flaw. I really like shows like that. I can't think of an example right now, per se. Right? I mean, you could say, like, for example, like, Ren's calmness, maybe.
Yeah.
But then Ren's calmness comes to bite him in the ass sometimes. Or, like, you know, like, stuff like that, right? Like, there are shows that do the sort of, like, I don't know what to call it exactly.
I think that's the only time that, like, RWBY's greatest strength is also her weakness.
Yeah, like your greatest strength is your weakness, right? So I think that, like, you know, it's not RWBY's weakness, but it could be. Like, blind optimism is a fatal flaw, but optimism isn't. Let's talk about that, actually. Do you remember that thing, that chart that we always talk about? And it's about, like, I think it was Aristotle's, like, virtues or something, or it was somebody's virtues, I don't know. But it was, like, virtues and vices, that there's basically an in-between. It's not good to be arrogant.
Oh, it's the middle path.
Yeah, the middle path, right?
That's Buddhism.
Well, this was a Greek class, so I don't know what
well,
probably Buddhism too, but I think it was Aristotle.
Buddhism might have happened first.
Yeah. But anyway, so Aristotle's like, you can't be arrogant because arrogant is bad. But at the same time, if you're unconfident, that is equally bad. You need a mixture, right? You need like a middle path between, virtue vice theory, right?
The middle path is more like don't be cruel to yourself, but don't be overly self.
Yeah, I mean that's
be concerned about other people, but also be concerned
like
about
there's
yourself.
arrogance, but then there's like cowardism, right?
Yes.
And in the middle, there's like bravery and stuff. Like the golden mean, maybe, I don't know, but and so it's something like that, right? And like you can't be you can't be X and you can't be X, so you have to be like in the middle, right? And so I feel like that there's blind optimism, there's no optimism, and then there's optimism, right? Like that's basically what Yang is saying, is that sort of like middle path and that golden mean and stuff. I think the arrogance example is really great, or even just like blind bravery. Like if you charge into danger, that's stupid, but if you're a coward, that's stupid too. So like you should pick the middle, like not be a coward, but not be like overly
like a lack of fear is
lack of fear. So lack of fear is just as bad as fear.
Yes.
I like that. And so I feel like that for RWBY, like that could be it too, right? And so I like this, that they need hope, right? And so like Blake has talked about that that RWBY like has always been like the hopeful one. And so I like how she pulls away. She's like, mine didn't work. I feel like we can get so frustrated when stuff doesn't work the way that we want it to. You know what I mean? Or the exact way. It's kind of like how you hear about a lot of like gifted kids, I guess, that like they, get by and they don't necessarily need to study. And then as soon as they find something they're not naturally good at, they hate it. Like I was like that with math a lot, like that I excelled in everything else, but like I didn't even want to try in math, like I just gave up on it, right? So I feel like that's sort of the same thing with RWBY. She's like, well, my plan didn't work, so all of my plans therefore must fail. This math question, I didn't do well on this math test, so I will make math my personal enemy for the rest of my life, right? Like I feel like that could be it, right? Percy Jackson, that may be a good one. I don't know though, because I haven't read it. We'll find out, right? RWBY, they're not called sure things, and so I feel like that's interesting, right? Like the whole like risk thing, right? Like
name of the episode.
I feel like that's I don't know, that's just such an interesting way to explain it, and I didn't think of that before. We got Oscar back, and we got a lot more that was never in the plan.
You
and I
blew
think
up the whale.
Emerald is part of that too. Like I feel like that would be like part, and Emerald maybe they're saving like Grace after all this as well.
Like
right?
You can't because I like that Yang gives a good answer against RWBY's hopelessness. It's like, listen, like we still did good, better than if we would have just given up.
I agree. You guys were talking about the gifted kid thing. Yeah, I think that RWBY is like a very good representation of that, because it's like, I got into Beacon 2 years early, so I'm as strong as everyone else, but I'm still younger, right? Like all that sort of stuff. And so I feel like that RWBY is a really good representation of that, because like, she's so strong, she got into Beacon, but now like as she cannot necessarily breeze through the same way, like things are getting harder, and she's like learning about that. And I really like this talk, right? Like mom took a risk the day she left. And I don't think, but then she chokes up, right? Like, I don't think it went the way that she wanted to. And so I feel like that we'll definitely find out why she was going in the first place. Like, I feel like that's going to be a thing, right? That, again, we need that answer, right? But she's still my hero, and I liked that, right? I like that how she hugs Ruby, even though Ruby's like, right? I feel that so much, but I feel like it's not that she doesn't want Yang's hug, but like she just needs that right now.
It's weird because it's not like Yang's comforting Ruby, it's like they're comforting each other. Like they both kind of like, Yang needs this and Ruby needs this. I don't know. I think it's very sweet.
And then you see her actually give into it, right? Right? And so I feel like that Ruby's being like, no hugs, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure that you guys have been that way. Like, sometimes, like with my mom or whatever, like, she'll come to hug me and I'll just be like, I don't know, annoyed with something and I'll be like, huh, right? Like, I'll just, like, not hug back and she's
then
like...
Then you're spiny. People don't know this. You actually have a set of quills that spark up like a pufferfish when you don't want to have to... Yes, when you don't want to have to deal with people.
And then John is like, uh-oh, because John went to go help with Penny. And what is Penny doing? Not nice. Not nice things. I think she just broke out of the window or something, right? They're all on the terrace and they're like, what? Right?
That's a long distance sneeze.
Yeah, and so, like, this was a very, I don't know how to explain it.
Emotionally intense scene.
Yes. I was going to say, like, yes, emotionally intense, but also, like, Penny was extremely robotic right here.
Yeah.
And so, like, she's, like, full robot right there, right? And then I really like this, right? Because she's still trying to resist.
I love the difference just in those frames between, like, robot Penny, a very stiff, to, like, Penny.
They do such a good job with animating people when they're supposed to be other people.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how this, how to explain this, per se, but, like, we see it with Neo when Neo pretends to be other people, too.
I almost got that impression with Oscar and Ozpin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oscar, he is standing like Ozpin, but he's still Oscar.
Yeah.
Because they're meshing more. I've noticed that as well.
It's so good.
It's subtle and it's really nice.
Like the voice acting for who's talking. Like you have Oscar pretending to be Ozpin. Ozpin. Ozpin pretending to be Oscar. Like, there's just so many layers to it, and they do such a good job, and it's the animation, too, right? And so, look at Emerald. Emerald's just like, oh my god, right? And so, like, this is crazy, right? And so, I really like this, because Ruby grabs on, and she doesn't let go, and I feel like that's a good callback to, like, the Nevermore that Ruby jumps on with Weiss all the way back in Volume 1. Like, Ruby has always sort of been like this, right? And so I really like this, because you have them all, you know, with Blake's ribbon, then you have Ren's, right? And so I feel like, and then Emerald comes to help, because, like, one of those things was like, oh, like, Ren, like, had the hound, and then he lost him, and, like, oh, like, Blake did this, and then they lost him, but, like, now you see that Ren and Blake were not strong enough on their own. They also needed Emerald in a way, like, in a sense, right?
It almost works as a kind
like
of metaphor.
Yeah, it's a metaphor,
They
right?
need each other.
Do we think that this is a metaphor in some way? Like, to see... like the Schnee stuff? Like, I feel like this was nice framing for the shot, but I don't know what this would necessarily mean.
I don't know.
Yeah. I like the shot. I think it means something. Like, I think the framing is sort of like when Weiss has the wings. Yeah. Like, that was obviously like a metaphor, but I don't know what the snowflake would mean exactly. I don't know. But yeah, I really like this. And then John was also helping Weiss, and people are like, where's the gravity dust bin, huh? Or like, where's the time dilation bin? And so it seems like Weiss is getting back into it, right? And then Jean actually helps her to make that stronger. So you see, Jean is helping them, but then goes over to Weiss to amplify her thing. But yeah, that's Weiss pushing her down. Weiss is using her gravity glyph.
I also like
with gravity dust.
I also like the idea that Penny, it's almost because like the robot Penny can use maiden powers, but not as strong as Penny can.
Yeah.
Because like if this was Penny, they'd all be like knocked on their ass.
Yeah, it seems like this is like hacked Penny, because somebody talked about that in our $20 Patreon talk and stuff, like for the talk for the VIPs. We talked about it, and somebody asked like, oh, can Penny still use her powers when she's hacked? And I'm like, I kind of think so. Like, I think if she was full hacked, maybe it wouldn't go, but like some hacked, you know? Like some hacked, like as of right now, she still can use them. Like the virus can use the maiden powers, it seems, right? Like against her will a little bit. So I feel like that was interesting, right? Oh, the snowflake could represent like that she's the Winter Maiden.
Oh, okay.
I like that. That's nice. I like that.
Nice.
That's nice. But yeah, I really like like that metaphor then. But yeah, do you see how like hard they're working, right? And so you see again the snowflake. I think it is about the Winter Maiden.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
that's a really good call, guys. I think that was really, really good. I will post about that later. But yeah, I really like this scene, right? And then you see Emerald's helping, right? And so I love that.
Yeah.
Love that for us. This is why Mercury couldn't defect instead right now, because he wouldn't be able to do the but they play into Emerald's involvement so well, like chef's kiss, like so well. She just fits in so well with everyone else in this scene too, and I love this, right? And I like how Jean, so he goes to help Weiss to amplify the gravity glyph that she uses. And so I like this, like, Penny, please tell me how to help you. And I thought this was a really, like, heartwarming scene at first.
And I'm like, look, they love each other. But then,
right,
she has this distant look and says, kill me. And
that was crazy.
That
like,
fucking
to hear Penny's voice
me.
say, kill me, like, wig snatched. Like, that was, like, insane.
Oh, God. That's like if Mickey Mouse gave the Wars hell speech. Like,
well,
it just doesn't work.
They will pay you for this, right? Like, from, like, Kingdom Hearts 2, it has that same energy, you know? Right? And so look at how, like, scared Ruby is, right?
It's like those YouTube videos where they get people to have, like, Kermit the Frog sing Hurt by 9 Inch Nails. I hurt myself today.
So,
like, it's just, you're too pure. How could you want... I don't even know what to say, but it was just so unnerving.
And I really, really liked this, right? I can make sure the power goes to you, right? And then, like, Ruby seems, like,
shocked
disgusted
and horrified
at that idea, right? So I thought that was really, like, I thought that was good.
Like, look at, just how everyone looks horrified and no one wants to do it, but they also almost recognize, like, the grim necessity of it.
Yeah, but I think it won't be Ruby. I think it'll be Nora if it happens. That's my thing.
Nora has to kill?
No,
right,
Nora will get the power,
yes,
right? Because I think that they wouldn't give it to Ruby. Like, I think that it would...
Yeah.
Like, I think it would go to Nora, and that would be, like, the thing. Right, but it's funny how she wants to give it to Ruby, though. Like, her choice is Ruby. But that's not necessarily where it would go. Right, and so I like this. See? Like, I feel like Nora, there's a build-up for Nora to get it because of this. Like, because of all this stuff, in my opinion, right? Right? If you were only a machine, you could have never thought back for this long. And so I thought that was really good too. And think about it, like Nora's showing in this scene, like 5 minutes ago, she was like, oh yeah, I'm just the ditzy girl that hits stuff. But like, this was a smart idea.
Yeah.
Like Nora is the one who had the strategic thing here to remind her that she still has an aura, and if they could amplify that. I know some people are probably going to be like, that's bullshit, that doesn't make any sense, but doesn't it though?
They set it up though, also because they had Watts be like, there's something in her that's resisting, and it's the idea that she has a soul, and it hacked her by, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's properly set up.
I mean, I don't think that, yes, that's it.
I think that's properly set up so that by the time this happened, it doesn't feel like Deus Ex Machina.
That's not what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking more so the fact that, like, we know that aura heals people.
Yeah.
And what is a virus for a computer? Like, you know what I mean?
Okay,
like, I'm sort of thinking, like, in our reaction, I was like, white blood cells! Woohoo! Right? You know what I mean? Like, I was saying that, like, you know, her aura is basically acting to fight against a virus. Like, what do our bodies do when we get sick? Like, our bodies fight back. So all Jean is doing is giving her more aura so she can fight back against the virus. Right? So to me, this makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? In a magical sort of way. It's not literally like white blood cells or something. And it's not even a permanent solution. Exactly. So that's the other thing, is that it's not even the permanent thing. It was just temporary. A temporary boost to fight back a little longer. Right? Yeah. And so like aura, like when you think about it, what's our body's white blood cells for? It's our human anti-malware. You know what I mean? It's our human Kaspersky, okay? Or like Norton or whatever you call it, right? Right? And so that's what I'm thinking. It's like when you do that, like in this context,
I'm thinking of such horrible jokes to make.
Yeah.
I won't make them, but they're pretty bad.
But yeah, like it's...
Oh, I stepped on a rusty nail. It's okay. I used NordVPN.
Anyway, you guys...
I can't...
It's like giving medicine, exactly.
I can't get tetanus if my blood is in Belgium.
Like, anyway. Yeah, it's like medicine. It's like coffee. cough medicine, okay? It's not gonna help her forever. It just helps her, like, it's a cough
Band-Aid.
drop, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Band-Aid.
And so I feel like that was good, right? I feel like that isn't that big of an issue in my opinion.
And I also like that they set up this idea of a ticking clock, that this isn't a permanent fix, so later on it can become intense again.
But I know who's gonna get mad at it. I know somebody's gonna get mad about it.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it makes sense. It makes sense to me.
And they hug each other.
I thought that this was
I'm sorry. If you like Rose Garden and Lancaster, it's all well and good, but Nuts and Dolts is where it's at.
Yes.
It's where it's at. Just they're so cute. I just love them all.
Exactly. And this house, it's
like, dude, is Nora and like Penny even that close? Or they're just
I
like,
think
let's
so.
hug each other now.
She saved her twice.
I guess that is true, right?
Right? And so like, they're close now. And also, like, Ruby already got her hug. Now she's hugging her sister, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that this was this really sweet scene, right? And then Penny's like, no, like, it didn't just stop it. It wasn't magic Band-Aid, right? So that would be my criticism. If suddenly the hack wasn't a thing anymore, I would be mad. Yes, Nuts and Dolts is endgame. I agree. I absolutely agree. Except that conflicts with Nora getting the maiden powers, doesn't it? Right?
Listen, if it's between Nora getting cool
I
zappy
know,
powers...
I'm just saying, I'm a little like, uh-oh. Anyway, but yeah. I mean, can it still be endgame and then Penny dies? That would be kind of sad. But then,
unless she comes back.
Wouldn't we have, like a good ratio, though? You have one woman loves woman couple that has lived, okay? You have one hetero couple that has lived, you have one hetero couple that has died, and then you would have, like, Ruby and Penny if Penny dies. You know what I mean? Like, we're pretty even in terms of, like, you know, I wouldn't say it's bury your gays exactly, right? If Penny died? I
don't want Penny. If Penny dies, I'm sad.
But you understand
what I'm saying? But I also
saying?
feel like she would, like, I feel like at the end credits of the last episode of RWBY, they would do, like, some kind of, like, oh, we brought Penny back.
Not to say that you should, like, be keeping tallies or anything, but in terms of, like, surviving couples, it's been pretty equal, so, like, I don't know. But, yeah. What was I gonna say?
Oh, what's the gay couple that died?
Uh-huh. It would be Penny if Penny dies.
Okay.
I'm saying hypothetically, right?
Sure. That's
Question mark?
All
Penny
right.
can still come back. Yeah, that's true. We have this whole theory that, like, Penny will die, but then Maria will give her soul to rescue her instead of Pietro, so Pietro and his daughter can be together. Because you have this whole thing, like, with Maria, like, that she lost her father and she wouldn't want to see, like, you know, Penny lose her father in order to just, like, continue living and stuff. Like, she would give up her life, her old person life, I guess, you know what I mean? Her old person life, the life that she's lived, so Penny and Pietro can be together.
don't work.
You know,
I have to go to Atlas to fix them, like, but Atlas doesn't exist anymore.
In order to not separate, like, the parent and the child, because that's what happened to her, and she doesn't want that, right? Yes, Crow and Theodore, absolutely. Like, Crow and Theodore, you can't change my mind. Crow and Theodore is canon.
I agree on
that. But yeah, and so I really like this.
I even kind of like the idea of Raven and Tai-Yang reconciling later. They don't have to be in a relationship again, but, like, reconciling.
We'll get there, I'm sure. But yeah, look at this.
Oh,
awesome, right? See, Nora's so important for this, in my opinion, right? So I feel like that's gonna be like a thing.
Because I feel like I'm missing it. Okay.
Like, you know, she's so important in Penny's development. I feel like that we're coming somewhere with that. I don't know.
Look, your wife's my baby. She's crying.
And I feel like it's helping Nora find herself, right? Because she's able to see, yes, she is smart. Yes, she is, like, you know what I mean? She is all of the, like, she doesn't need to be self-deprecating. Like, she is, like, more. And she finds out that she is more through Penny as well, you know? Like, you know what I mean? I think that that's nice.
I really want Weiss crying to become a meme.
Oh God, why? What do you mean?
Or sorry, yeah, just Weiss. It's just like whenever something like you like happens, it just cuts to.
Can we talk about how Emerald is
sitting
in like the Foursquare position that you learned from school? Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you call it? Crossword? Or like everybody get into your crisscross, like, or whatever. Like, I feel like that this is kind of funny. I don't know why, but it does feel like it. And I love this. Oh my God. Let me remind all of you guys, I may like put this back in the chat just because, you know, I think Dar went away, and so I don't know if anyone's posted it for a while, but I'm gonna put the reaction link back in the chat, and remember that you guys can see the reaction if you do like want to become membership members and all that stuff.
I love her new outfit. I love her.
Our reaction to this moment was especially hilarious, but we're not going to tell you guys why exactly. Crisscross applesauce! Yes! Exactly!
someone made the point of triple redhead. That Penny, Nora, and RWBY. That makes sense.
I guess.
Well,
Ruby's
RWBY
hair.
has like red ends, you know. That's...
Yes, it's crisscross applesauce. Exactly. That's how we learned. Anyway, yeah, so I really like this emerald scene. I would highly recommend for you guys to see our reaction because, like, it was amazing, and I won't explain why.
I love it.
And so I really like this. I mean, yeah, you guys have been getting your asses kicked.
Can we talk about how, like, we
Emerald said ass.
And then she said piss.
And then she was like, some of that my fault, right? I love this dialogue for her. This is so fucking funny and, like, perfectly in character. This was everything.
I love
everything.
I love Emerald's character as someone who has always been like a fast talker and like a con woman her entire life, but now she's being honest, but she's presenting honesty in the way that con people. She sounds like she kind of reminds me of Hades from
Hercules? Yeah, exactly. It was amazing. Like, I love this dialogue for her. Look, I'm just gonna be super pissed. I just love her so much. However,
she's my favorite.
I feel like that we should talk about, and I feel like maybe this could be a theory for tomorrow. Did we pop the party popper too early? Because I think that we brought up a very good point last week that we sort of forgot about in the heat of the moment of the reaction. But will Emerald stay switching sides after she sees Cinder? That could be a problem.
Maybe.
I feel like that she'll momentarily waver and then realize that she shouldn't be with Cinder anymore and then go back. So yeah, I'm a little like...
I think she might waver a little. She might pause, but I think she will do the right thing.
I agree. I think that when she sees Cinder, she'll momentarily get wrapped up in all of it again, but then she'll make the right decision.
And she either starts dating Weiss or Ilya or maybe both.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think
I love that.
Somebody said rushed, and I don't know if they meant about this scene, but I don't think that this, like, Emerald redemption was, like, rushed at all, because when you think about it, it's really as simple as, I don't want the world to be destroyed. I don't want to die. Like, really, like, I don't know how people can say that it's rushed when it's literally just as simple as, Salem, kill me. You guys not kill me. Stay with you guys. Like, it's very, like, basic.
And not only that,
right?
but, like, since Volume 3 and Volume 2, she has been shown to not been totally okay with a lot of this, like, a lot of the plans, like the mass destruction plans. Yeah. I think she has a little, like, anti-authoritarian bend to her. But
doesn't all of Team RWBY have that?
Yeah, but that's everyone in that courtyard is a criminal right now, right? Everyone has that feeling. Yeah. I think really she saw like a savior from her horrible living conditions in Cinder, went with her, went in too deep, didn't have the inner strength to break apart, then finally did when she got someone like Hazel to do that.
Exactly.
So like, I think it makes sense, and I don't think it's rushed.
I don't think it's rushed because it's not done yet.
Yeah.
We're not done.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like another thing.
I think she'll Zuko a little bit, you know? She'll waver a little bit.
Like, the fact that she's not finished is like a part of that. Like, she's not, it's like Bumblebee. People are like, was Bumblebee rushed? But Bumblebee's not done yet, right? Yes. And so it's one of those things, it's literally as simple as Emerald doesn't want the world to be destroyed. Yeah. Like, it's literally just that. Also, yeah, she helped Osmond escape, so there is no going back.
Also, so, Nicholas, I agree that like they just adopted her, like you're in the family now.
Yeah, I think that
you get a pair of matching footy pajamas.
Oh boy, I wonder.
And you're in the Christmas.
Could you make a team name out of Emerald and Team Juniper?
Juniper.
Could you? Without the
ER? Instead of like the P, it would just be like N-E-R.
Yeah, because you still have Ren, right? So it would just be, because Juniper was to emphasize the P, but the E could still work to emphasize Juniper. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really like, and so she's like,
oh yeah, and the P in Oscar Pine?
Yeah. So like, there's a lot, you know, there's a way to make it work. Yeah.
I just love how she goes from like grumpy face to like happy face.
Yeah, exactly. The bees aren't done yet, and Emerald is still not done yet. Like, she's done when she like confronts Cinder and like the resolution of that. She's not done.
But
look at this!
Look at my happy!
And so I think that, like, I think you saw this photo on Tumblr,
and they cropped
Hunter.
It, yeah,
so like this was where it was
look
from,
at them all. They're giggling.
And so I feel like that this was a really cute scene, right? And then she's like, whatever. She's such a tsundere, right?
Yeah. Wait, what did she say that they're all giggling at?
That, like, switch sides. And then they're like, oh, switch sides, huh? And she's like, no. I didn't, like you anyway, right? I think that's what they're laughing at, right? Because I think Yang was kind of bullying her a little. So I thought that this was nice. And And I like this because, like, when you think about it, Emerald has never really had a family, and so I feel like with Oscar, she's like had found family. Like Oscar's her little brother.
And it's a better family. It's not people like Cinder that are gonna kind of
they get along really well, and I feel like that it's like a sibling moment, you know? Because like think about Mercury. Like Mercury was kind of like her brother, you know? And I think that Mercury's coming back. But I feel like that, you know, at the same time, I don't know. I feel like that Emerald is now like Oscar's like big sister.
As much as I think my favorite genre of RWBY fanfiction will be Cinder redemption stuff. Yeah. Now that I'm looking at Emerald redemption, I'm starting to think Cinder redemption's not going to happen.
Feels bad.
I still kind of think it could happen in a very narrow sense.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, I didn't want to be used by them anymore, but she doesn't get accepted by anybody.
We more talked about it like.
I don't know.
We more talked about it like, that Cinder will be like, well, if Salem's alive, I can't be the most powerful person in the world, so I guess we'll take her down. Mm-hmm. Like, we sort of thought it would be in that sort of, like, very anti-hero, still don't like RWBY type of way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, alright, so let's get into what Ozpin would like to say, because, like, look at their face, they're like, this guy. Right, but I feel like Ozpin's speech was really good, and now, like, how many speeches do we have for the Oscars, right? Like, there's
quite
so
a few
many speeches, right?
I also think that this is a good contender for Best Episode.
I think that maybe we should do, like, Best Humorous, like, speech, and then maybe Best Emotional, because
or, like,
Watts,
maybe Funniest Scene?
Yeah.
Best
Because, like, Watts, I feel like people are just gonna vote for Watts because he roasted Cinder, when Marrow, Ozpin, and RWBY, and Ironwood all have equally
But who knows?
good moments, right?
You know, who knows?
But we'll see. We'll see when the volume's over. And so, he's reminded of that fairy tale from Oscar, and so I think that this was nice just because, like, you can see again the difference in how Ozpin moves compared to how Oscar moves, and I feel like that was good. A young girl flees the consequences of a choice. Obviously, this is talking about Salem, right? You know, like, the consequences of what happened with the gods, and then, like, she goes to a magical place. Like, that's sort of like the Remnant allegory, except they don't know that Remnant was actually the less magical place in the beginning, right? But having never learned from her initial failure, like, she continued to spread that to others, right? And so you think about, like, first of all, how she spread all those kingdoms to fight against the gods, right? And then she just kind of kept doing stuff like that forever, right? When you think about it. And so I think that was a really good thing, because we know, like, that Salem sort of spread her failure to everyone else. And then, yeah, I think there's some Alice in Wonderland vibes, but it's definitely about Salem, right? Like, it's about, you know, the girl who fell through the world. She fell through, like, the pre-Remnant with the gods to the new world of, like, Remnant, right? And so I think it's Alice in Wonderland inspired, but it's about Salem. Like, primarily, it's about Salem and how Salem, like, oh, you know, her initial failure was asking for Ozma to be revived. And then she spread that failure. She spread that failure to everyone else, right? Like, she spread that to all of the people.
Made it everybody else's problem.
And got everyone disseminated or whatever. Like, she killed everyone. Like, you know, like, everyone else
Very
got
one division of her.
yeeted, right? Like, everyone else got Thanos, if you want to call it that, right? And then, you know, she continued sort of doing shit like that, right? And then, you know, he's saying that he needs to learn the same lesson, right? And so it's almost like a parallel between Ozpin and Salem in a way, is that even though he insists that he's so different, at the same time, just how, like, Salem didn't necessarily learn from his mistake, or from her mistakes, Ozpin had trouble doing that as well. Like, I should have trusted you with the truth, and should have never run the day that you discovered it, right? And so he's almost using, like, this is how he's different from Salem, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's showing, like, yeah, like, I'm like that girl, but the difference between me and Salem is I promise you I will learn from it, right? Because they know, right? And so I feel like that would be, like, good. You know? And I like this. I know it's a sort of cliche of, like, oh, everyone's finishing each other's sentences, but I thought this was really sweet and, like, more natural, right? Because, like, maybe the Weiss finishing Blake's wasn't, but I feel like Yang trailing off and Blake continuing was more, but I still thought it was a sweet scene anyway, you know?
Also, man, this risk thing comes up a lot in this episode.
I like how they pan back to them, too, because it's like, they have no idea what the fuck is happening, but they're still proud of Weiss anyway. And I feel like trust is also a risk, like, you know, for Whitley to have trust Weiss, for them to trust Willow again, like, to repair all those family bonds, right?
Can we talk about how, like, I love how, like, I think she's still kind of drunk that her face is a little red.
No, I think that's just her skin color.
Skin color? Okay.
I think Whitley's just
it's
pasty.
Yeah. Maybe if they get the pastiness from Jacques.
Because, like, look at Weiss's face and then look at, and so, and so I really like this, all them smiling at RWBY.
For such a, like, episode that, like, beat my soul within
there were, like, ups and downs, right?
It was as bleak and, like, as warm and fuzzy as I think RWBY's ever been.
It was basically both.
But it didn't feel unnatural.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it was a good mixture.
It made sense, you know? It didn't feel, like, tonally askew.
And what's interesting, right? And I hope it's a risk you can take on me again. And so I really liked that moment as well, like, for Ozpin, right? And they all, like nod at him. I think that was really good. Let's see. And then he looks at Emerald. I thought that was nice. And then I still feel it fighting me. I thought that was good.
Heartburn?
Yeah. And then Nora says, right, I just can't keep amping her forever, and we can't keep Ironwood waiting. And so Nora says she has to go to the vault. And again, even if Nora doesn't get the maiden powers, at this point, I feel like that Nora's self-worth will come from the fact that she has thought of all the good ideas. She has thought of amplifying Penny's aura, of actually taking her to the vault, and then RWBY says something like, well, that's a risk that we hadn't considered, and I think she realizes something, that going to the vault can actually be a good thing, and that's how they can actually stop Ironwood, right? And so I feel like that was actually good. Like, what if Penny could pretend to be hacked, because Jean is amplifying her aura in a way that Ironwood cannot see, and then, like, that could also be a thing as well, like, that she could, like, get the relic, like, using her free will, and then, like, kind of take it from Ironwood's nose, right, and, like, you know, take care of him that way. But I do like our theory about Emerald using the hallucinations on him. I think that's, like, the primary theory, but the secondary thing is, if they know that they can buy Penny some time, Penny could always have her aura amplified, pretend to be hacked, get the relic, pretend she is hacked, and then everyone, like,
but they would know because of her red eyes.
But he doesn't know that. He hasn't seen her. What does he know?
I guess maybe that's true.
You know what I mean? Okay. Like, why would there be a visual indicator?
Maybe.
Does your computer tell you you're hacked when you've been hacked unless you have
antivirus? Okay, I guess it was a dumb question then.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, a virus that tells you that you have a virus isn't really a smart virus, is it?
I guess not.
A virus should be covert, should it not?
I guess not.
Open the vault, go inside, close it. Exactly. And then Penny's stuck in there. And then she just, not stuck in there forever, but I'm saying, like, then that keeps it
Glimmer's
safe.
mom from She-Ra is stuck in a dimension for all of time.
Yeah, actually, that's a good comparison, I think. That actually makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah, Penny's going to the vault doesn't mean that she'll open it. Exactly, Emerald's involved with it. Yeah, that's our theory, that Emerald will be involved. And so that is it, guys. And so I think that RWBY has an idea, right?
And I like that. It cuts to
Ironwood, right?
Skype. Like,
so Ironwood just is sitting down here, which is kind of weird. Like, I guess he got the call, and then he, I don't know. Like, I don't know why he was waiting down here, but I guess, anyway, whatever.
I mean, I don't know, maybe, like, that's where he feels safest?
Yeah. Maybe he thought, like, I don't know.
Maybe it's the room he goes to.
He has to get away from the ASOCs. He was like, right? And so, right, they say the academy entrance, Penny comes alone, okay? And so I feel like this is important because they say Penny comes alone, but, like, is Penny coming alone? No. No.
What if it's really Emerald?
Right? Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
And then that goes with my idea that, like, because as we're about to see, Watts is intercepting this message, and both Neo and
We'll
Cinder...
get there. Chat has a good point. Have you ever thought of extending your aura? Vine said to Jean. Exactly. That could be like a big thing, right? And Emerald with Jean's help could create a huge illusion. I think that's a really good point.
And like make it so they don't see any of them in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Just like how, like, and with Ren hiding them as well, like that could be like a triple hidden.
Teamwork.
Stealth 100, right? Like stealth 100 points. Like I feel like that with, because I know Ren mostly just hides against the Grim, but like if you had Ren, Emerald, and Jean, like that would actually be like really good, right?
I also like the idea that maybe what throws a wrench into this is, as we like predicted, that Neo and Cinder are gonna show up. They're gonna throw hands and fight.
That's what we predicted, right?
Yeah,
so I'm really happy.
Go high five.
So it seems like that, like our prediction about that will actually like come true, and I'm really excited about that because we had this theory, like, oh, like Emerald will pretend to be Penny, or Emerald will basically like be helping out Team RWBY. Then Cinder will come and attack, and Emerald would be like, wait, Cinder, it's me, don't shoot, or whatever.
Or like she will knock her out and then see that like the illusion will break and it'll be Emerald.
Exactly.
And they'll have like a weird moment of like, what are you doing?
Do you know what could be happening?
What could
at the
be
same time? What if Neo pretends to be Penny?
Oh, she could do that, couldn't she?
And so, like, what if she arrives at the school, like, preemptively before Team RWBY
they
gets
get there and there's already a Penny.
Yeah, and they're like, that's not it, right? Like, that's not good. And so, well, the only thing is,
I don't know.
The question would be what Neo's motivation would be to do this, because, like, obviously, like, it seems
she
like
wants RWBY.
she wants RWBY,
yeah.
but maybe she thinks, like, somehow tricking Ironwood would be, you know what I mean, would be beneficial to them somehow to get into the school. Maybe, like, their thought is, oh, like, we can take down Ironwood, then we'll pretend to be Ironwood, and then when they come into the vault, we'll pretend to be Ironwood, but instead it'll be like, you thought Ironwood was here, but
and
it was
for some
me,
reason, Ironwood's
Cinder.
just wearing sunglasses, and it's like, nice shades, James?
Do you guys understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so Neo transforms into Penny. Penny goes into Penny as Neo. Neo goes into the school. Watts and Cinder, like, are able to get in somehow. I haven't figured that out. I don't care.
I feel like this is overly complex.
Okay, they go into the vault. Neo kills Ironwood. Not Neo, not just Neo. Neo's in Cinder. I feel like Neo and Cinder could take Ironwood. Neo and Cinder take Ironwood before Crow and Robin can even, like, whatever, right? And then, like, they'll go into the vault because they'll be like, Ironwood was waiting for us, but he doesn't seem here. And then Team RWBY will do their whole plan where they think they're being so sneaky, like, Ironwood will never see us, or whatever. And so they walk in with Penny, and then they see that Ironwood's already dead because Watts, Neo, and Cinder got there first, and then they fight in the vault room.
Are they gonna fight in the vault room, or are they gonna meet in a? Because I feel like the vault room might be difficult
to get
all of these different
That's my, like, really complex
parties
idea, though. That's, like, my really complex idea. Is
How
that basically, like, Neo turns into Penny, sneaks in, they kill Ironwood, and then, or they dispose of Ironwood. They don't need to kill him, they just need to tie him up or something, I don't know. Maybe they can hold him down with that grim thingy that, like, Salem does, right?
I kind of, my image is that, like, the deal is, they're trying to, like, fake the deal.
Yeah.
And, like, pull a switcheroo.
And it would happen in the street.
Yeah, and then Cinder comes in, and then we get Winter, Crow, Robin, and
I think that's
Mara.
the more reasonable one, right? Like, I'm just saying this is, like, my crack idea. I think our first idea is the more
I also
right
do
one.
think there could be a mixture of that, where, like, maybe, you know, Emerald also blocking out everyone, as Penny blocking out everyone else. They go down together, and then maybe it's kind of a mix of, like, oh, Penny and them broke in earlier, and they all find different ways down, and they fight in the room.
Like,
there.
I still stand by our original idea of, like, oh, like, we could do, like, you know, this big blowout fight. Like, I still stand by that video. But if I had to make, like, a really crack theory, knowing that Neo can turn into people, like, that's what I would say.
I still want, I want her to do something that I wanted her to do in, like, Volume 7, which is she turns into Pyrrha.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, like,
I'm just saying that could really fuck, especially if she has to fight all of Team Juno.
It could be as simple as they're listening to the comms to know where to ambush Penny, but it could also be as complicated as them implementing Neo to pretend to be Penny.
Did Neo get a new umbrella?
No.
That feels like a new design.
It's just nicer.
Okay.
Like, it's just, you know
I
what I mean?
It's just
Probably since the last time you've seen it, it's animated nicer, right?
Okay, maybe when you compare it to, like, Volume 2 compared to now.
Oh, Ironwood said they have an hour. Maybe that's why he's waiting. Yeah, that's true.
I also feel like the last time we had a scene or a fight in one of those storage rooms, not throne room, jeez.
Vaults.
Vaults, thank you very much, Cal.
You're welcome.
It was the Cinder Raven fight, which was the big blowout fight of Volume 5. So I'm thinking, what if this is like a massive, like, 20 character brawl that goes from the streets into the vault? Like, I think that would be really cool.
I agree. And I think that's I like this, because, like, Neo's just, like, ready to fuck someone up. But I think basically what happened, she called Neo, we know where RWBY is, you'll get your revenge, let's roll out, let's go. So I think that's gonna be really interesting. But yeah, so my crack theory is, again, for them to try and pretend to be someone else.
I'm so excited for next week.
Regular theory is like, fighting.
Yes.
Combat. Okay, so...
Okay,
God.
no. Violence!
We spent way too much time talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, our stream was also, like, so we could take 15 minutes
chaotic.
off, and then we're at 2:15. 2:15 wasn't really that bad. You know what I mean? Like, because we had to restart, so I wouldn't say that we did that badly. But yeah, that is basically all from us, guys. We are going to make multiple videos this week. Probably not as many as last week. Probably only 2, really. Like, I feel like we only need 2.
I see the potentiality for, like, 2 or 3.
Yeah, like, I think Ren and Nora is a big one, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, we could talk about that. But we already talked about how Crow is going to break in last week. So I feel like that theory still stands. And then maybe Nora being like the Winter Maiden, we could talk about that. But like otherwise, like I feel like we don't need to talk about the big
Crow Robin.
But we already did.
Maybe like the Raven Enter theory.
I don't know. I feel like we already kind of got that.
I guess we did,
right?
maybe. I don't know. Unless they release some questionable merch tonight, we're probably not going to make too many videos.
I feel like, because I mean, we got the Crow, Robin, Marrow, Winter thing down. Like we got that in last week's. And then we also got, like, the Emerald, like, illusioning them and us having this big fight. So it's really, like, last week's theories were this week's theories, really. Yes. So, yeah, that's basically it from us, guys. So before we go, I'm going to post you guys the links again. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much, oh my gosh, my links keep going away. Oh, you know why? I think I'm copying and pasting. It doesn't like copy and it stays forever. Like when you paste it, it goes away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and so that's basically it from us. So I hope that you guys will go check out our videos from last week because like that was a thing. You guys should go watch that.
And also, damn, they've aged really well. This isn't a casserole.
Yeah, this is great.
Or like me thinking that Osmond's gonna open up a hole in the time-space dimension.
Exactly. Like these like went really, really well. So we'll probably make multiple videos this week, but also you guys should check the ones out from last week. You guys should watch our reaction. If you're a YouTube member, you can watch it like through YouTube and like there's stuff for that and all that stuff. So I would suggest doing that. I think you guys can probably do it under this video. I don't know. There should be a join button or something, but you guys can check it out on Patreon as well and join the Discord server. Because if you guys like talking in the chat, Discord is chat all the time. I think that's how I'm going to explain it.
You can't escape.
Exactly. A chat you can't escape. So yeah. And so that is basically it from us, and we will see